Hello everyone, welcome to Onyx Earth Tarot. Everything you need to know about me is in the description box below. So we are back with another pick a card reading. It is timeless and I'm finally gonna do the reading I've been saying I was gonna do for like a couple of weeks now. So it's not a love reading. There may be love messages. Again, we don't discriminate against the messages. We take what comes through, but we're gonna look to see kind of what it is you need to know right now. I have a couple of things so it's like what you need to know, what will be revealed, what are you unlocking. You've already seen the thumbnail, so you're going to select keys because it's like a skeleton key theme, and I have more information about a skeleton key if you don't know what that is down below in the description box. But some of you may be watching this real time, so you could also apply this to the Lionsgate portal, but it is still a timeless reading. So whatever doors are opening for you, doors that you are bursting open yourself, whatever it is you're doing, that's kind of the concept that's happening, or doors that may be opening that are out of your control. It could be that as well. And honestly, it may be the case for a lot of you because it was like a minute and 11 seconds when I said the ones you can't really control. So now I'm really interested to see what's going to come through. So we do have 4 piles to select. I'm going to do my best to describe them because I'm good at describing, but they're keys, so I'll try. But this is that point in a reading in which those of you that are visually impaired, or if you just like the verbal descriptions, you make your selection now. Pile 1 is the gold key. It's kind of like a heart shape at the top of it, like at the back of it, the end. And then pile 2 is more of a dark gray silver, it's really rustic looking key. Pile 3 is more of a bronze colored key. It has like an arrow at the end. And then pile 4 is more what I would consider to be like a copper colored key. Yeah, that's as best as I can do. So I will give you a moment to make your selection, and if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. All right, pile 1. So for whatever reason, some of you may be jumping into something without really paying attention, or someone may jump into something with you without really paying attention, because while I channeled your pile, I'm like, okay, wait, let me just look at the key. Let me look at the key so I can envision the key, make sure I'm locking in with that key. So some of you may need to take a bit of a pause, or you may be forced into a slight pause, not a long duration, or you may be stepping out of a pause of some form, because I'm like, let me look at this key. It is the gold one with that like heart-shaped thing. So I've got you locked in. I can see what your key is. I know what door you're gonna open. I will know what door you're gonna open. I don't know what's going on. So some of you are deciding what you're gonna do. You don't know what door you're gonna open. That's why you're focusing on the key. That's why I need to focus on the key. So we'll figure it out. Let's take a look at it. So I am gonna use the Magical Botanical Oracle. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that we've been using it in some of the love readings because it's new, and it's got some really detailed, thorough messages. So I'm going to open with this. We're going to get some tarot, and then I have a couple of oracle decks, and I do still have the love decks on standby. I don't plan to use them, but if I feel called to, if something comes through heavy, then we'll go for it. We'll go for it. So let's see. Tell me about my pile 1. Give me the messages. What do they need to know? What doors are opening? Near future. Let's see. Their attention needs to be focused on. Something might be hitting you right in the face. I want 1 card. I was going to say 1 key. So some of you, this is your only pile. Now that could change at any given point at the reading, and this could change in the future. Like you may come in a year or 2 and watch this reading again and pick a different key. But for right now, the majority of you selecting this pile, this is your only key. At least for now, in the present moment. So I don't know why you need that clarity, but it's coming through that you did so. Great. I've got 1 card. Well, we may take the bottom since I don't have as many decks that I'm using today, but you have the moon flower, number 18. Okay, let's check. Let's consult the book and see what that is. Number 18, the moon flower. Alrighty. All right, it is the element of water and the planets Moon and Venus. So It says, I open in my own time and in my own way. So listen, if you feel like you need a pause, definitely take it. For sure. Do not rush yourself. Do not do anything that, if you feel confused, if you're uncertain, you want to take any step, you want to take your next step with a perspective of clarity, peace, and certainty. Do not feel pressured by anyone or anything to move before you're prepared to. Okay? I don't care what's going on. Do not rush. If you feel rushed, like, take your time. Right? Because some of you, the decisions you're making are life impacting ones, like the ones that will literally change the trajectory of your life. And that's something you have to be certain about. That's something you have to have clarity on, right? You don't want regrets. And even if in the long run, whatever decision you make, it's something that maybe you might not have done it again, you still want to know, you still want to be able to say, well, in the moment, I was very confident in that decision. You don't want to have regrets and then like, dang, I rushed it, and I really, had I taken my time, I would have chosen differently. Nah, that's, you don't want to do that. So the divination meaning of this card, though, it says finding your creative power by breaking patterns and rhythms and finding your own way. You will attract the allies that are able to help you if you do follow your own way. The book is repeating. It says your own pace, and that is the secret of unlocking your magic. We are talking about keys. I love how the synchronicity is happening for you, but it does say moving in your own way at your own pace is the secret to unlocking your magic, part one. Okay, and it says that it's just talking about allies. So you may be seeing the spirit animals of bees, moths, spiders, and or dragonflies. So this is another confirmation for you that you're in your right space. So don't be worried about other people. Like, don't let too many other opinions move you, right? So that what you need to know, your decisions have to be your decisions, right? It's good to get advice. It's good to consult, but the power is yours. The path is yours, right? The outcome is yours. Therefore, you need to make the decisions for you. Okay? Regardless of what anyone else thinks or says, it just feels like this power may have a little bit of a too much weight on other people's opinions and perspectives. So let that go. You will see doors fly open if you've been feeling stuck in any sense once you move for you, right? Not saying don't consider other people, but when you decide from your core, it can't be a wrong choice. Even if it puts you somewhere where you're not feeling it, it was your choice. It has to be your choice. Okay, that's major thing. Okay, you. And that makes sense why you're getting me saying, hey, for now, not saying you can't have multiple piles. If you feel strongly pulled to other piles, go for it. But this is your dominant energy. This is the one you need to prioritize, because me needing to confirm, hey, if you didn't know what pile to pick and you're here, you're in the right place, lets me know that you needed that certainty. You needed that reassurance. You rely a lot on reassurance, okay? And you may be doing so in access, okay? But at the bottom, you have the dandelion, number 7. 7 may be relevant because you do have 18, which even though it adds up to 9, 8 minus 1 is 7, right? Okay, so I'm just trying to put this in frame. I'm sorry, give me a second. Here you are. All right. So let's see what dandelion is. Number 7. All right. It is Jupiter and Sun energy. Very lucky. Fire and earth. Might be manifesting something in the 3D for sure. And it says, I am both joyful and strong. And the message here talks about, it's a very bright day. It says, dandelion indicates a time and place for you to shine and play. And while doing so, be successful at what is at hand. This plant spirit can indicate success and good fortune in business and goals coming to fruition, all with a lighthearted, fun attitude for you. Okay, it's telling you to accomplish your goals, do the work, proceed, but also don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take life too seriously. Like, allow yourself to celebrate your wins and allow yourself to enjoy each step of the journey, right? Enjoy life, because it does say enjoy your success and keep it going. Where is your eye drawn, right? Root, leaf, flower, or seed. This can deepen the meaning of the divination. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna do that, but that's a little much. That's a little much. I was gonna hold it up and let you choose, but if you could see it, it was for you. If not, then you just take the message how it is generically, because it feels like you may be at a point in life where you're taking everything seriously. You're overthinking, overanalyzing, hence the need to consult externally, right? Like you're asking other people, outside sources. You may be watching a lot of pick a card readings. You may be booking a lot of readings. Right now, you need to pull within and kind of figure out what resonates with you internally, what makes you, what lights you up, what makes you feel joyful, and that actually will take you where you need to go. Right now, obviously, if you have outdated patterns and habits, don't lean into that. But when you feel called to something, a place, a situation, a purpose, that is what's calling you. Like what lights you up when you think about it, and that may be the journey that you're meant to be stepping onto at the present time. Now, I'm not gonna continue to lecture you on trusting your intuition and stepping into your own power. I'm not gonna beat the dead horse. Let's pull these tarot cards and get more clarity on what it is, my power one. What does that key, that skeleton key, if you don't know, a skeleton key unlocks all doors. The universal key. There is not a door, a path that cannot be unlocked. And because that is the kind of underlying concept that I'm using for today's readings, your key to that, your key that will unlock anything, any challenge, any path you're trying to step into, will be trusting your intuition and knowing yourself and being comfortable and confident in your decision making, that regardless of what other people say, you can move with confidence and certainty. Okay? Give me more information for my pile one. Tell me more about my pile one. My skeleton key. Oh yeah, a lot of luck coming in. Okay, and I think that here's the thing. The wheel spins. It can be confusion. It can be a very confusing time when you're stepping into this, because things are changing and shifting, and just really, you can feel like it's spiraling out of control, but it is for your greater good. It may not feel that way now. Some of you, you're feeling the spiral and it's feeling very lucky. Some of you, you're feeling the spiral and you're like, when will it stabilize? I don't feel lucky. It will end very, very well, right? You've got another Jupiter influence over there. So that's expansion. It is abundance. Sometimes you feel a lot of negative abundance prior to seeing the positive impact, right? So, and it does talk about possibilities, and especially if you have a fear of change, that could be scary. Possibilities, because possibilities talk about potential. It's not yet set in stone. It's things that have a potential to fail. And, you know, especially if you have that fear of failure, it'll throw you off. But I'm telling you, this wheel is here to tell you that you have the key to unlock. You have lots of blessings coming in, like lots of blessings coming in, because this is the wheel of fortune. Okay, if you can allow yourself to feel joy, if you can allow yourself to be confident, things will change. Like when you move, you have to move with confidence. I feel like right now you're kind of in a self-sabotaging, self-fulfilling prophecy mode, where if you have a pessimistic mentality, things kind of manifest in that way because you led with that energy. If you go in with a joyful perspective and a confident energy in yourself and your decision making and the steps you're taking, if you take each step confidently, you will see lots of blessings. Okay, for sure. But there is clearly a door opening right now that is totally different from what you have been living. So if you've been feeling struggle and chaos and challenges, you're going to step into a beautiful life of fortune and good luck and favor. Now, there is a slight energy of the counter. If you've been kind of floating, skating, right? Not having to think for yourself, letting other people think for you, kind of benefiting. Like if you've been kind of, because the moonflower is doing things and feeling joy as you're working and living day to day. If you've just been living in a really, I'm trying to think of a word, because it's not a bad energy, but if you've just been benefiting from other people, right? Like if other people have been carrying you, I don't mean support, like, you know, when necessary. I mean, if you've been living the good life, right? And it's because of other people's opinions and concepts and labor and effort. Wheel of Fortune is a wheel turning. It is not a good or bad energy. It turns, energy moves, things change, right? So if you've not been doing that, you'll be stepping into an energy very soon of having to learn to think for yourself, how to work for yourself, how to produce on your own. Now, I'm not saying that's the dominant energy, but we don't lie here. I don't want to scare you, but if you've been skating by, living the good life, okay, you're going to learn to stand on your own. And that's not bad. It's good because at any given moment, someone can stop giving you the information, the knowledge, the skill, doing work for you, resources for you. People can stop at any given moment. So that's a dangerous situation to be in if that's been you. If you've been living a good life off of someone else's accomplishments or mentality or skill or being carried, you don't want to stay in that energy because at any given moment, you're stuck, right? So now you're being called. There's a siren. So yeah, exactly. It could be an emergency. Maybe that's what you're being shifted. Some of you, maybe you've lost this source of support, right? That's a good thing because rather now than later, where it could deeply impact you even more. You're going to step into your own power. You're going to be able to think for yourself, create and build on your own, and it's going to be very prosperous. It's just that short term, that will may feel like a downward spin. It is a downward spin so that you can lift yourself up versus riding someone else's wheel, right? Like I said, that's just for some of you here. I'll take them. I wasn't going to, but I will. And that's okay, especially those of you on that shadow side of the pile. It will feel overwhelming, but you will be fine and you'll be great, I promise. Right now, we have that 5 of Acorns challenge growth. We do have possibilities and change. So any changes, for better, for worse, are scary. Some of you are stepping into blessings that you're not going to feel ready for. You're not going to feel like you're able to handle it. You're so used to living in chaos. So it's going to trigger you when you feel, or it is triggering you to be in a very positive, lucrative space, especially when we talk about finances. So just take a step, take a breath. We talked about taking that space, right? Do it. Take that space. And don't listen to everybody's opinions. There's too many voices right now with the 5 of Acorns. You have too many messages, too many opinions, too many thoughts, too much guidance. It's time to pull within and do what you need to do. Notice how the message is the same, just in polarities, right? Some of you are experiencing blessings, like in a positive sense, and you're learning how to maneuver that without other people's impact. Others of you are kind of having to pull back. You've got so many opinions and support, and it was in a good way, but now it's a liability, it's a limitation in your development because you don't know how to move without someone else doing it, right? And you're having to learn how to do it. So it's all good. It's all good. It will turn around even if you're on that shadow sense. I promise. You just have to learn a lesson and learn how to stand on your own 2 feet and it will be fine. Especially since you have this Ace of Crystals, right? Manifestation and prosperity. You are manifesting abundance. The door that is opening for you on either side is how to step into your personal manifestation power. How do you create in this world? Because we talk about manifestation from a spiritual mentality of prayer, of meditation, of your mind and how your mind works. But we talk about physical action because even this 5 of Acorns is a lot of motion. It's fast, fiery energy. It's action, right? The wheel is circling, right? It's a motion. You have all of this energy channeling into this new beginning that is that Ace of Crystals in the physical plane, right? So all of the chaos you feel, for better, for worse, if it's like a whirlwind, like you hit the jackpot, if it's a whirlwind, like your world is crashing down, either way, you're going to land right into that Ace of Crystals. I promise. Okay? I promise. It may be feeling overwhelming with this responsibility energy of that 10 of Acorns, right? And dedication. But if you persevere, you stick with it, stick through it, work through it, right? Do the work, ground your energy, establish a routine, put in the work, right? It will be fine. I promise. I feel like those of you on the shadow side will struggle a little more with that responsibility and that routine sense because you have been relying on other people to do those parts for you. You've been kind of living the good life. Like I said, those of you where it's the blessing, you're going to have issues with letting go, right? Like you're you're burnt out, like in some instances, but you've overextended in the sense of responsibility with that 10 of Acorns, and you're having to learn how to not need to do that anymore. So it just depends on where you fall, but either way, it's an Ace of Crystals, I promise. And the 10 of Acorns also is a close of a cycle. It's maxed out energy. It's as busy, as intense as it will be. Okay, that is the important thing to note, is that it is now, right now, as you're getting this reading, you're at the peak of the wheel, right? You're at the peak of the wheel. It's as busy as it's going to get. Okay, and if you're not feeling that yet, whatever Ace of Crystals you're stepping into, whatever physical move, shift, step you're taking or about to take, then it will be as busy as it can be, and it'll dissipate. I promise. It'll stabilize. Let's see what's at the bottom. Exactly, Eight of Acorns, energy and results. You'll see the results very soon. Eight of Acorns is a card. If you know me well on this channel, when I see Eight of Acorns, sorry, it could be a new energy because I'm saying Ace, but the Eight of Acorns, literally, you see it come in. It's like messages coming in the next day. So you may get an offer, you may get an acceptance, you may get something that you've been waiting for, or something unexpected with all of this shifting that's really, really positive, but also very overwhelming. Some of you, again, if you're on that shadow side, it's not necessarily going to feel positive yet, right? It will feel scary. It will be new with that Ace of Crystals, but in the long run, I promise you, in the long run is not that far away with all of this fire, right? I honestly can see this beginning to stabilize within the next couple to a few months, right? Beyond, you will not be in this energy for beyond a year if you do it right. Now, if you struggle and drag it out, that's a personal decision. It doesn't have to be that way. But Eight of Acorns is very quick. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I have been living a good life, when's it gonna shift? Very quickly. Not gonna lie. Not to scare you, very quickly. But this is why we have messages. We brace ourselves, we prepare, we mentally prepare ourselves. And honestly, you don't necessarily have to go through it. If you might be able to shift this if you take the initiative and start, shifting, because the wheel is kind of karmic energy, not necessarily bad, just, if you have been in a receiving energy and you dominantly receive, you always get, you don't work, you don't give, you always receive, right? Eventually the pendulum shifts, right? And you have to pay, not like pay for what you've done, but like you have to become, someone that gives. That's why people often do like charity work, community service, all of the things. So just be cognizant. I don't want to like freak anybody out and make this a negative reading. It is not a negative reading, because I'm telling you, when you learn how to do things on your own, you're going to be very fulfilled by it. And you're also going to feel very strong, very confident, because if it's yours, if you do it, no one can take it from you. That's the polarity. Is one person in this group is like, I say one person, but one personality in this group is, I have to do everything on my own, and this having to learn how to open up to community and support. The other here is very used to being supported by a person, community, and not having to do much, right? And in being that side that doesn't have to do much, you're like very dependent in an unhealthy, insecure way. Like it's not secure for you long term. If this person, these people, this situation goes away, what happens, right? And it could be anything. It could be a romantic connection, it could be family connection, it could be professional. A good example is like, okay, you're like family. If you never had to work before and like your family's always supported you, well, what happens if that family goes away? Like what happens if that money goes, like what do you do, right? Professional, like if you've been kind of skating by, pretending you have knowledge that you don't have, right? Like, that happens sometimes. It's a random example, but if you've been skating by and you don't have certain skills, and you've been on a strong team and a strong group, then what happens when the people with the skills are no longer there to do that part, right? You have to develop those areas so that you're not in a bind. That's what we're talking about right now. So like I said, it could be any area of your life. It could even be academic. It could be a research project, right? The person that's very strong, like if you're not the strongest speaker and you always ignore the speaking parts, right? You want someone else to do the talking. You're comfortable, like at some point, especially if that's critical to what you're in school for or what you're going to be, you're going to have to step out of your shell and speak, right? Those are the kinds of examples of what I'm saying. It doesn't mean you've been leeching off of people. Some people in this group have, but you've been avoiding areas of a development. Okay. So let me pull from this other deck. This is my astrology oracle deck. So tell me more about what's coming in, because I do want to see where it's going. Because because this is all about the energy moving very quickly and shifting and it getting difficult right before everything settles. Fixed, very stuck energy. So we have let me check this out. So you've got fixed, right? Those are all of the fixed signs. That is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. It says stability, persistence, loyalty, and dependability. Some of you are learning those skills. I'm realizing. Got it. Okay. Some of you are learning that, and some of you are learning to be less rigid. It's always a polarity. You know where you are because there's no way you don't know. It's polarizing energy. You're one or the other. Because I feel like anybody in the middle would be a well-balanced person, right? Anyone with falling in the middle would be a well-balanced person. The only way your personality is falling in the middle is if it's applying for different areas. Like if you're too overextending in personal relationships, but too relaxed and too receiving in your professional environment, whatever, you know what I mean? Like one area or the other. That's the only way it works, is if you're extreme in different facets. I hope that makes sense. But some of you are going to have to learn to be more stable, to be more persistent, to be more loyal, to be more dependable, right? And then others are going to have to pull back that energy because you're doing too much of that. You're too loyal. You're too persistent. You're too stable. You need to change, right? A la Wheel of Fortune. We do have the Scorpio energy here. A lot of you may have Scorpio placement, Scorpio energy. This is intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. You are entering a rebirth, okay? And it is a good energy because Scorpio rules inheritances as well as debts. So you're releasing karma, releasing debts, and gaining your inheritances, whether that is ancestral, whether that is financial, because Scorpio is, that is other people's money, right? Especially if you've been really reliant on that, right? You're going to learn how to not be so reliant on that. And if you've been, too fixed in your own personal energy and not allowing yourself to receive inheritances, you're going to be getting that. You're going to be learning how to receive, especially things that are owed to you. Because again, debts and inheritances, that's this house. This is also talking about intimate energy, right? When we talk about sensual energy, we could be talking about being very rigid in terms of sensual energy or overextending in terms of sensual energy. Those are things that are going to be in this next door that is opening for you. Okay, for sure. But yeah, I mean, let me see what else I can see. So let me see what's at the bottom. House 5, yeah. Passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. So that's Leo energy, more fixed energy. All of the fixed signs are on the table. That is, it is Leo season. So when I say real time, some of you, it may very well be real time for you. But again, it is a timeless message. But house 5 is joy, pleasure. It's entertainment. It is fun. It is doing things that make you feel good, right? Some of you are in an overabundance of that energy. Some of you are lacking in that area. That's what's opening up a balancing of that energy. So you know which side you fall on. If you have a tendency to overindulge in pleasure, any form, you're going to be called back. If you have a tendency to restrict yourself to over access, I guess that's the best way to describe it, then you are realizing, or will be realizing soon, that that's not the way to live. And you'll be allowing yourself a lot more fun, a lot more pleasure, a lot more enjoyment in this life. Love that for you. Honestly, love it for both of you, because some of you that are overextending, that are in an overabundance of pleasure and fun and relax, you're not fulfilled. Like, because it's not even joy and pleasure. You're actually using it to avoid your responsibilities and your goals. So you're not truly fulfilled if you really think about it. You're going to feel a lot better once you establish a routine, once you start putting in some work, because you're going to feel like you're accomplishing something. You never want to be in any excess of energy, right? So when you're just chilling like that, you're not fulfilled. So I can't wait for you to find it. Like I'm telling you, those of you on the shadow side, it feels scary, but honestly, you may feel the biggest blessing of this pile. Though the ones that need to lighten up, loosen up, and allow themselves joy, they will feel joy. But I get the feeling that those people on that side, they'll feel joy, but they already feel joy. The problem is that they may be taken advantage of, or they've overextended their energy, so they're tired, so they can't fully experience the joy that they have. So they're gonna learn to pipe down, relax a little bit to do it. Those of you where you've just been skating on by, you're gonna realize, oh, I thought I was happy this whole time. I thought I was living a good life this whole time. But this structure, this routine, this building I've done, these accomplishments, this praise that I'm getting now that I'm doing things on my own, this is great. Like you're gonna feel more joy. I hope that makes sense as well. But yeah, let me I only have 2 more decks, so I'm gonna get ready to close this pile out. But I mean, this is all about you and your internal energy. You will be experiencing physical shifts, for better, for worse, depending on which side you're on. But it's all about debts, inheritances, what you owe and what's owed to you. So the message, the key message for my pile ones that I love, you will get what is owed to you based on the energy you've been sending out. Okay? I know that sounds so like super metaphysical and ominous, but like, you know the life you've been living, you know the work you've been putting in, whether we're talking about your career, your personal relationships, your academics, your health, your wellness, whatever you've been working diligently hard towards, you're gonna see the results of that. And if you've been avoiding things, then you're going to see that kind of hit you in the face so that you can start making those adjustments. In the end, you'll be good overall. It's just that you're getting what you've been working towards, for better, for worse, okay? What's owed to you. So if you've been feeling like you're owed something, right, you're gonna see it very, very quickly with that 8 of Wands, okay? Especially, and watch that, because that even like guilt, the negative energy, inner journey. But like I said, I did say this is more about you internally. You're on an internal journey, pile 1, okay? I'm gonna take 3 from this deck. Inner journey, feminine energy, that's also an internal journey. It's receptive energy. So whether that is you balancing that energy of receiving and access, or it's you learning how to receive. Again, it's always a polarity. That's what we're learning right now, balancing that energy. 1 more and I'll take the bottom, and then we'll hop into my new Oracle deck that I have. I'm gonna take this. No, I'm not, because I lost it. I was gonna take it. I have 2 cards coming out that I'm not gonna do. But you do have truth coming out. So truth will be coming out, for better, for worse, but abundance. Okay, for better, for worse. Because this is this card, I mean, this pile is a pile of excess, whether for good or bad. And it's a needing of a balance. So let me get my last message. Love it, love it, love it. Let's talk about it. Abundance is in reverse. Not because that's what's coming. Some of you maybe, right? I mean, abundance in reverse is coming. It's a balancing out. Because abundance, we talk about abundance like it's a positive thing. It's not always a positive thing. It can be excess, right? It can be too much of something, right? There's too much pleasure, right? Sometimes there's too much negativity sometimes. You don't want anything, like, you know what I mean? Like that phrase, white hot. If you've been white hot, right? And you've just been accelerating, getting ahead, possibly getting over, you know, it is what it is. The wheel's going to turn and you'll be pulled in to explore yourself internally. I don't think it's a punishment. I don't think any of this energy is punishment. It's just a balancing of the scales. Those of you where you've been lacking, you're going to learn how to break that blockage of receiving so that you can step into abundance, because that's a blockage. Abundance in reverse can be a blockage in feminine energy, and your receptive side of you accepting support, accepting help, accepting inheritances of any kind, right? Just like on the other side, it could also be a blockage in accepting your debts, right? Your responsibilities. Notice again the polarity. But what I love here is that it is a true balance of the scales in this pile, because you have feminine energy, you have masculine energy. And I like to say that here I'm realizing that some of you, a lot of you, depending on how you feel about labels, if you watch a lot of love readings, you may identify with someone that would be considered to be on what they call a twin flame journey. If you don't like that label, you could call it soulmate. You can call it a divine connection. You could be seeking a divine counterpart, but you have both masculine and feminine energy, which is so that's why I say that. Now, regardless, it means that you are balancing your receptive and your active side. You will be feeling much more like a whole person very, very soon, very, very quickly, right? With the Eight of Acorns. Even if it's difficult for a bit, you're going to feel like a whole person, not just a receptive side, not just a active side. You're going to feel like you're giving and receiving in balance, and you're going to feel very, very good about it. Okay. Very, very good about it. Okay. So yeah, I almost pulled that love deck. I'll pull one because why am I grabbing at it? I'll pull one from this, but I want to close this out. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Free yourself. I love it because it's not even a love message, right? It says it's time to take back control of your life. All of you, if you're overextending, pull your energy back so that you can be on the receptive end sometimes. If you are active and constantly taking from other people, then that's not you. That's you kind of leeching off of other people, being kind of a vampiric energy. Free yourself from being reliant on those sources, right? Either side, right? Free yourself from having to, maintain all of the burdens, but also free yourself from being overly dependent. Whatever the situation, like I said, it could be any area of your life, especially since I used the love deck and that's the card that came out, right? That unicorn energy. Okay, take back control of your life. That is your key message. But that's what you're being pushed into, whether you want to or not. And it's going to be beautiful. I promise. You're going to be so successful. So successful. So let's pull out this new deck that I have. It is the New Orleans Oracle deck. So I'm really excited about it. So let me see what card I get for you to close this out. Sorry, I don't mean to knock it. What do we need to tell pile one? What else? So I'll pull two. One for advice and one for what you can expect once you step through this door. Okay, advice, please. For my pile one. This is advice. We'll flip it over in a second. And then what will pile one get when they open that door, when they step through that door? This one. All right. And I have the book just in case, but these are pretty straightforward. I may read this one because it's like making itself slide over. So this is your advice. Speak your truth. Number 22. That's throat chakra. Double message. If you're overextending, use the word no. The word no is your friend. No. No. Firm no, hard no, mean it. Boundaries, right? If you are overly receptive, right? It doesn't mean like necessarily just financial or anything like that, right? It's energy, right? You're using other people's thoughts, right? Because you're relying on them to tell you what to do, on how to move. You need their guidance, their support, right? Their skills, their creativity. Step into your own. Speak your truth. What do you think? What do you believe? What do you feel, right? This is what you need, right? This is your advice. I'll open the book just because with the advice card, I want to see what the writer actually had to say. But yeah, it says being aware of your feelings is one thing, but learning how to express how you feel in a calm and balanced manner can sometimes be a challenge. It is important to understand that speaking your truth does not mean that it will be understood or accepted by others, and it doesn't need to be. Right? It says the only thing that matters is you are able to give your feelings a voice and acknowledge how you truly feel. The more you are able to acknowledge and identify how you genuinely feel, the stronger the relationship you will have with yourself. The relationship you have with yourself will become. It is not about being right or wrong. It is simply about knowing and practicing what it means to honor yourself through verbal communication. Now is the time to speak your truth freely. So I used that example a little while ago about speaking. Some of you may not be the best speaker. Give me 1 second. Okay, about one. So yeah, the point I was making was like I used that example earlier where I mentioned like the public speaking and saying things, and you may not be the best communicator, or you may struggle to communicate effectively in certain areas of your life. Like some people are very good at communicating their personal feelings or their personal conversations, right? Very good at that socially, but when it comes to like professional environments or academic settings, they struggle a little bit. Some people speak really well in academic settings, right? Like they're very intelligent, but when it comes to social engagements, right, interacting with people on a social level, they're really shy and timid and may stutter depending on the personality. So that's what I mean. You're going to learn how to really speak. That is your advice card, is learning to create on your own, learning to speak your truth, being authentically you. And if you don't know who that is, discovering that. That's very beautiful. Okay, so I think I said this is your advice, and this is the door that's opening. Duality. I love this energy. Look at that yin and yang energy. So you got feminine energy and masculine energy, and then you have duality, like being one. So again, from a personal point of view, you'll step into an authentic version of yourself, but a very balanced version of yourself. You'll know how to learn to give and receive in equal parts, right? You don't have to worry about the scales shifting. You don't have to worry about that wheel anymore in your life, because it won't be an energy of excess, right? As long as you stay in balance, as long as you have a dual energy, I don't know that you'll ever really, and I say ever, but I don't see in the near future, beyond whatever shifts you're experiencing, once you stabilize, you won't have any dramatic shifts, right? Abundance in reverse, really at all anymore in your life, right? Because right now what's happening is, because you lack balance, you're shooting from one extreme to the end, like get overextending, taking too much, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But when you give and receive in balance, you don't have to worry about the scales shifting that sporadically, right? It becomes more of a wave versus a spike, right, in your life. So you don't have to worry about that, because you'll be stable. You'll be very stable. Those of you where we're talking about romantic connections, you will come into balance, right, with a connection. I don't know if we're talking about a specific one, or if we're talking about just anything you're looking for in your future, but you will have a very stable, balanced connection, because you'll be a very stable and balanced person. And those of you on that journey, I do see, if you are asking about divine counterpart or twin flame union, whatever the phrase is for you, definitely gonna get that. Okay, now let me see what this card is, because oh, look at that, make a wish. So whatever wish you have will be granted in this next door, right? Once you attain that balance, once you step into balance, once you and your divine counterpart, if that applies, step into balance, you'll get whatever it is that you've been desiring deeply. Okay, look at that wish. Okay, love that energy for you. Okay, so that is all I have for you today, pile one. Hopefully it resonated. If it did, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay in the know on the content we post here on this channel. Thank you for watching. All right, pile two. So let's see the next door that's gonna open for you. Like a skeleton key, right? You're selecting keys, so we're gonna see what key unlocks all of the doors, what you need to know, anything that comes through of that nature for you. So I'm gonna hop right into it. Let's see for my pile two. Tell me about pile two, skeleton key. What do they need to know? What doors are unlocking? What doors are they consciously, unconsciously being forced into? Like, what's going on with my pile twos? Tell me what's happening. Give me an overview for that, please. So that fell in the maturing energy. And it's funny because I'm going to read the book because I'm still learning the deck. But I consciously use my left hand. Left hand could be relevant to you for whatever reason. But some of you actually didn't want me talking about the left hand with my throat thing. I was thinking like being left-handed, but some of you may be left hand path, or some of you may be doing some left hand stuff, right? If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. That you don't want people talking about. But I'm consciously putting this down, and with the intention of reading the book. So there may be other sections for this passage that I need to look at. because it is a maturing energy of the poppy. Interesting. Door opening, door. Okay, so a maturing energy feels like let me see. Okay, Patu. So here's the thing. So distractions and its energy is feeling familiar. I feel like, because I haven't used this deck that often, right? So I feel like I remember getting this card and the message having something to do with distractions. And so with that being a maturing energy, it's almost like it doesn't feel like it might be a closed door, honestly, because I associate cards falling like this in a maturing energy. So it's either a door that's closed or something being released to step into an open door, if that makes sense. That's just what I'm getting from this poppy energy. So and if it like it because I know I remember getting this card. So if you remember seeing this card in that pile, it could, whatever reading that was, you may like this release or something may have something to do with that reading. I don't really remember. I just know I remember this card. So those of you that remember, remind me. But if you remember picking a pile and this card coming out, it could have something to do with that reading, because you know sometimes my readings connect in that way, especially with those of you that watch frequently and often. So, but yeah, maturing energy, something either closing or being released so that you can step into the same, step into a new door, which either way, similar concept, right? So let's see what this poppy energy is, and then I'll take the bottom, because this book is going to be very important. Very important, just because when I was mentioning placing this, because I always put it on top of the book in a way, but we'll see. It does have Moon, Venus, and Mars energy, and it says water. So it does say rest and regeneration is essential to my health. So you may take a break from something or take a step back from something or lay something to rest. Like I said, divination, meaning it does say that the poppy appears as a dream phantasm to the sleeping poet artist. See, I can't even really see it clearly. Something is not clear or not real, or there's an illusion, or you're not seeing something clearly. Situation, right? But it talks about things being illuminated and seeking truth. And it says to pay attention to your dreams and find your creative voice in those dreams. Let go of assumptions about yourself and what you can and cannot do, and find your creative sense of self. Enter into the mystery of your own being and return with your own treasure. So that could be some of you, if you did come from the previous pile, welcome. But that's kind of the energy that I'm getting, is finding your voice and knowing what you want and figuring things out. Let's see what these other sections say. I'm not gonna read all of this to you, I promise. It does, now this energy is associated with drugs, so that could make sense, like drugs. So we could be talking about addictions. We could be talking about just health overall and medicines you need. We could be talking about actual magic, because I see the word rituals. Here it's talking about like love potions and attraction and enchantment and bewitchment. So and then invisibility and confusion. Yeah, I mean, it's all about that illusion energy. So drug, fantasy, addiction, trickery, that's that energy. Like not seeing things clearly, whether it's because of malicious intent from external energies or situations and people, or just you just being either tired and not seeing things clearly. That's an energy that is closing. Okay, that's what you're releasing. It could be an energy within you. It could be a situation you're not seeing clearly. It could very well be a person, because I haven't done a reading in a long time that wasn't love based. So if this card came out, it came out in a love reading. Okay, so could be dealing with a love situation for some of you. It could be, but it could be any relationship, right? Any type of connection or situation just in general, right? Because sometimes you're not seeing situations clearly. And I can see that for a lot of you, this may be cross situations. Like it could be a relationship platonic, right? It could be friendships, it could be romantic partners, it could be professional, it could be academic, it could be all of the things. I feel like if this energy is in your life, it's definitely affecting more than one area. So that is closing that confusion, that illusion, that not seeing things clearly, that being bewitched or enchanted or attracted to things that may not be good for you, that don't serve you. Like I said, situations, places, and people, and then or substances. That's clearing. So some of you are clearing addictions, right? And all of those things as well. But let's see what's at the bottom. Dragon tree. I know that this is about protection for sure. So let me see. There it is. It's fine. Okay, and then I'm going to see what that card is. Number 8, number 8, number 8. And then it talks about dragon's blood, which is like a protection, and it does say I am strong, powerful, and taking clear action in my life. It says when this card is drawn, the power of the dragon is in you. You are called to draw forth your natural power and take action as necessary. Use your magic, express your will, take flight. It is time to be active and make things happen in the inner or outer worlds, but you cannot remain idle. Above is the constellation of Draco, whose brightest star, that's not necessarily relevant. We don't need the myth. Look at me. While the dragon tree can have an aggressive nature in the application of the resin in magic, you are not necessarily called to be aggressive, but confident and strong. And it says, do not be passive, take an active role in reshaping your life. So some of you may definitely come from that previous pile. That said, what I'm seeing here is someone that is not taking action where they need, right? And that's why you have to close a door before you can open a door, or why you have to release something before you can step through the door that is currently open for you, right? It could be addiction, situations, people, toxic relationships, all of those things. And I see very clearly it says to actively release, actively rest, actively heal. Ooh, actively hear. Some of you aren't listening. Actively hear, but actively heal, actively do. Okay, whatever it is, it's an action, not necessarily an aggressive action, but an action, a decision, a choice. Okay, that's key here for you. And whether you want to or not is going to be made because of the way it came in a maturing energy. It's at the point of you getting this reading, this energy is already coming to a close. It's a matter of, are you going to resist it and make it difficult, or are you going to just allow it to and be an active participant in your life? Right? Because whatever you're doing no longer serves you, whether it's some type of addiction, some type of circumstances, situation, way of being, thinking, acting, delaying, right? That's something that I do see here for you. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is also like, I love this deck because it pulls out my witchy people, and I think that's so interesting. But like, I did see a lot of references to spell work, possibly curses, attraction, all of the things, like manipulation based energy. So if you're the type to manifest, if you're trying to do something, did I? Because listen, I got so distracted at one point of this reading that I don't remember. I think when I first started, I mentioned like that left hand. Some of you may be doing left hand magic, right? You may be casting love spells, whatever. Just watch that, because if you are, you're getting the message of let that go. Like, let that go, okay? Like I said, I don't know what your spiritual beliefs are or whatever, and we don't judge here. It is what it is. But any of that you've been doing, manipulation, attraction, that could influence specific people and outcomes, it's saying to lay that to rest, okay? And I know some of you may not want to hear it, but that's literally the message. Because here's the thing, especially if you're doing that, if you're new and novice, you're supposed to divine before you do that. So if some of you did not, and you're being called to let that go because it's not, it's either not working or it's backfiring. So if that's, like I said, I'm talking to my witches now, right? You initiated something, watch it. Lay it to rest because it's blocking your new opportunities. So what's happening is you may be trying to cling or call in something that will keep you stagnant, whereas you're meant to move forward, right? Like closing up cycles. So for example, if you're doing because attraction is attraction, magic, period, right? If you're manifesting, like let's say you're manifesting a specific job, right? Well, that may not be the job for you. You may have a better job that better suits you, that actually pays more money and will give you a better quality of life. But you're trying to call in the specific situation and you're clinging to it, right? An addiction, right? You're clinging to it and it's draining you. You're using all of your energy to maintain something that is not for you, whereas the situation, the door that is opening for you, would actually take less effort, right? And be more beneficial to you. So whatever, if you're trying to attract specific, right? So like, if you are my witchy pile, like maybe try to attract a job with the qualities you want, or a person with the qualities that you want. Okay. All right. If that's what, right? Like instead of specifics. Because I don't always, I don't, if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know, I don't like it when people try to do specifics. It's very limiting. It's very limiting because you don't have the capacity to understand all of the synchronicities and possibilities available in your life. There's situations, circumstances that are beyond your comprehension as of now of you getting this reading that could be available to you. So focusing on a specific outcome, not a specific energy, like a very specific person, a very specific job, that's a block. Don't do that. Okay. So I'm not going to go back on my witchy tangent with you guys, but just know, let it go and focus on the general sense of what you think you're going to achieve by attracting the specific situation or person. Okay. That's what I think. And those of you that have been doing the left-hand path of, not attracting to you to gain, but of targeting others, whether we're talking about baneful or love, you know how I feel about those love spells. I told you I don't do that. But if that's what you've been doing, I do see a sense in some of you it is a backfire, but it's also spirit is saying stop, let the door close so that you can, like I've been saying, proceed, because you're not getting anything. If anything is draining your energy, it's making you tired, exhausted. Like you're literally draining like your life force doing that. So just channel your energy into this new door that's being opened for you, right? There's a new door that's opening that you can't go to because you won't like let the other one close, or you won't release this toxic energy, desire, obsession, addiction, right? Whether we're talking about substances, whether we're talking about magic, whether we're talking about, you know, all of the things it could be. But that's what spirit is calling for you, okay? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna pull from this deck. It's a decision. I'm telling you, it's a decision. Why am I acting like I'm confused? I don't know what I'm doing. It's a decision. You have a choice. It's up to you. But I will say, pal, too, in the shadow sense, I'm going to take that. It's incoming energy. Spirit will take you kicking and screaming. Especially my witchy pile. Like, just, you know, be mindful of the energy and the workings you do, especially if you don't know what you're doing or kind of know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Outside of my witchy pile, energy in general, obsessive, attachment-based energy, you can't be like that. Okay? So let me just see what this is before I start pulling incoming energy. That's that 8 of Acorns. I did shuffle a little bit, but I'm not going to take it because I want a good shuffle. Quickly watch it, because I think I mentioned the backfiring energy. Watch it. And that's not just my witches. That's my people that are just addicted to stuff. If you're addicted to something, someone, stuff, it's going to backfire. Okay, very, very quickly. So stop. I don't want to see that happen. I've got the Empress energy at the bottom. If you are, this is really my what you got. If you're targeting, I don't know why the Empress, because it's not the High Priestess, but it gave me like, it felt like a, almost like a magician energy. You just watch it, because if you are targeting, you may be encountering someone that is protected, or trying to influence the life like of someone that does know what they're doing, or that is, like I said, even if they're not witchy like you. Like, for example, if you're trying to the perfect example is the love soul. If you're trying to do that, you don't know who's, like, what spirits or whatever is protecting that person. So just be cognizant of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't like when y'all do that. I tell y'all all the time, y'all don't listen to nothing I tell y'all. Y'all don't listen to nothing I tell y'all. But like I said, I'm not gonna you'll see if you don't stop. Let me go back. And that's not for, this is not the dominant energy. This is just it's a powerful enough energy that it came in. But I really like that deck because I wouldn't have, I don't know that I would have picked up on that without this deck. So let me see. Tell me more about pile two. What door is opening for my pile two? What is that skeleton key bringing through? For you, your priority is stopping or releasing or resting so that you can see things clearly. And some of you, slipping in here, or have been targeted by this energy. So like some of you are doing it. Some of you need to watch it. Like you may have been targeted by energy. And it doesn't have to be like an actual person that like tried to like throw magic or cast a spell. It doesn't have to be that. Like it's not that serious in most instances. It's literally like evil eye or someone like just wishing ill, praying against you. It could be all of the things. And it doesn't even, it could literally be people actively trying to sabotage you in some sense that you're not paying attention to. So I feel like closing some cycles and releasing some connections or situations, circumstances, so that you can fully embody the blessings in the next door. So a lot of you, you got a lot of garbage, a lot of baggage, whether it is internal, right, personal beliefs and addictions, or people that really don't belong in your space. I definitely feel like I remember this energy. Okay. 6 of Acorns. Success is literally in your face, pile two. Like honestly, I mean, we're saying like we're trying to see what doors open. The door is open. It's open. You have victory, right? Success and triumph. It's just that right now there's some things that need to be released for you to fully embody it. Okay. 5 of Feathers, strategy and resilience. Yeah, I told you. Look at that. You've got the 5 of Feathers. That's 5 of Swords. So that is kind of a predatory energy. I'm not gonna lie. It's people having people around that like it's a betrayal, backstabby energy. Right? So it's like as you do good, you have more of that around you, or you have people around you as you're doing good, they're targeting you more, like sending you more negative energy, whether actively or passively. And it's like Spirit is saying to step into that. You're not going to experience the full magnitude of your blessings as long as you have this, as long as you're in this situation, in this vibration of yourself, or have these people that are vibrating around you like that. Okay? It's like a self-sabotaging energy, because that card definitely rules a self-sabotaging energy. So it could be you battling your addictions, right, and obsessions. It could be you of any kind, right? It could be people and external circumstances that are physically wearing you down, right? It could be that. Or it could be on a spiritual. It could be psychic attacks, spiritual attacks. I do see that for some of you. Okay, share in the comments where it's applying. Some of you, it's all the above, and you need to like back off and get your life together so that you can step into this energy. Let me see one more. I'll take the bottom. I almost want to grab that. Tell me more about my pile twos. What door is opening for them? Ooh, some of you. If you've been on the receiving, like if this energy I'm describing feels like energy that's been coming to you, like the shadow, right, of the targeting, of the addictions, of the obsessions, of the betrayal, of the literal magic being thrown, evil eye, all of the things, whatever all of that is describing. If you're like, oh no, that's not me, but the reason you're picking up on it is because definitely have all of that around me, then this 6 of Acorns into the 5 of Feathers, the door that is opening is I kind of love this energy, but I have a little bit of a chaos side. This victory, right? This 6 of Acorns, it's actually like traditionally depicted as like a parade. It's like public success. It's like public recognition. And then this 5 of Feathers is like typically in a shadow sense, it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face, but it's one person that is victorious against their like, against people that are targeting them. And it is bittersweet because it's people that they've alienated themselves from, but they were victorious. And it's kind of like in this energy, if this is the energy of the situation and people around you, you don't have a choice, right? You have to, it's kind of a them or me mentality. So it's like you coming out victorious against this situation, battling your addictions. Because if we're talking internal conflict, right? Like let's say it's an addiction. That's a good, easy example. You lose a part of yourself, right? 5 of Feathers. You're forever different after that. But you're victorious, but you're different. There was a loss of something in you, right? It's the same thing. If it's a situation, circumstantial, that victory, people will not like it. especially those that are not, you know, looking out for your best interest, or that don't actively support you with that 5 of feathers. Like it may be a them or me mentality, but I'm going to be victorious regardless, and I will be victorious, and they will just have to seethe, right? That's kind of an energy. Like I see you in this next door that's opening. People will be very upset because they did not want you to win. I want you to win, Pal, too. Let me know in the comments. I support you. Yeah, look at that strength. That's actually Leo energy, courage, endurance, 5th house of joy and pleasure, bright light, success, people seeing you clearly, you seeing people clearly, but also recognition, popularity, right? You're going to be very successful in this next door that is opening for you, that has opened. You're going to be on top. People will not like it. That is fine. That's life, okay? And I say people, that's those of you where the situational and the relationship connections are what's resonating. If this is internal, right, this is just you battling your inner demons, right? And honestly, if you have the inner demons, such as addictions, obsessions, and such, people tend to make enemies when you're not in your highest self, right? So I could see that energy as well. So it may resonate for a variety of reasons, but you do have the Queen of Shells of peace and compassion. So you will be in a very peaceful energy. Honestly, those of you where I'm not gonna lie, 5 of feathers does kind of feel a little bit like karma. I mentioned the backfiery energy. If you know that's not you, that's the people that may have been sending you negative energy, or may have been trying to sabotage you, whether you know or not, because Poppy doesn't know. Poppy may not know. Poppy is a very illusion-based energy, not seeing things clearly. You might not even realize some of the things that are going on around you, okay? That's what you need to know. Be cognizant. There's a lot going on around you that you don't see. But it's okay, because you're going to be victorious, and, you know, that energy of sabotage, betrayal, or just negative energy overall, combative energy towards you, is going to go away. You are meant to overcome that. You will sit in peace. You may never know the full extent of a lot that happens around you, and that's fine, because it's going to backfire. Interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, my chaotic side loves this energy. Tell me about your story, Pal, too. I'm rooting for you. Let me see more. Let me see more. Got 2. House 12. What I said? House 12. That's the house of hidden enemies, y'all. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Because like you have the 6 of acorns and the strength. You're fine. Don't even worry about it. If you know, like, maybe protect yourself, maybe have boundaries, but and let go. Like, honestly, the advice in terms of action is to act to protect yourself, act to move on, act to release, detach, and all of the things, right? Remember everything I said at the beginning, because I kind of vaguely remember. You know, I channel these messages sometimes and I forget them as quickly as I say it. But remember everything I said at the beginning with these cards, okay? That is your advice. We'll get more advice as we go further. But that house 12, it says spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. You're in a healing energy. You're going to heal. You're going to rest, recover from whatever, especially if we're talking about attacks of any kind. And then especially if it's been physical. I could see that in some instances. If you've been physically attacked, I'm so sorry. But I see this house 12 of, you know, illusions, not seeing things clearly, very comparable with that Poppy. That said, heavy energy of addiction. So those of you battling addictions, you're supported. You got this, I promise, because I see that with this house 12. You're meant to close it. If you've been struggling, or if you're like relapsing, or if you're ready to take that step, this is the time for sure. You're not just making that up in your mind. You're ready for that step, okay? To clear that out. Okay, and then any karma that you're clearing, like, right, karma towards other people, karma within yourself, you're going to deal with that, okay? Like I said, whatever side you're on, whether you're the one that's receiving backlash, or the one that is backlash is going towards an energy as a result of, right? Especially those of you that feel like you've kicked someone when they were down, or people kicked you when you were down, because I feel like this house 12 Poppy energy is low. Very low energy, especially with that 5 of feathers. So, well, you know where you fall, but This is about spirituality. This is about your unconscious. This is about the things you do that you don't realize you do in some sense, right? Like you're meant to work through all of those things. This is the house of mental health and therapy, right? So you may be stepping into that energy. Let's see what this is. Venus, give and receive love, find value and see beauty. So we talk about this energy of, in terms of a door that's opening. This really complements that Six of Acorns. Sorry, I'm trying to like map it out. Venus talks about beauty, love, fortune. It rules the second and the seventh house of your relationship. So the sources of this could be your relationships, your connections. It could be your sense of security, because second house is your assets, the things you own. So like I said, anything that you have issues with related to that, that's what you're called to heal. Okay. Especially when we talk about love, I don't mean necessarily just romantic love. I mean like all sources of love, because again, Venus is Libra energy, all relationships, all of your connections, especially even professional and academic, all of your connections with people. Again, second house is Taurus energy, healing all of that security, that comfort, that stability. That's the things that you're called to step into and to release any attachments that aren't healthy for you. Okay. But I know we're talking about what doors open. The door is open to let that go straight up. And also you have so much abundance and success coming in for you. It's just that you can't clearly see it. You can't clearly see the way because you got a lot of garbage. Okay. Whether internal or not, right? House two. Look at, I said, right? Physical security, possessions, material values, and self-worth. You have a lot of physical stability coming in for you. Okay. That's the next door. The door that is opening, physical stability, money, right? A home, right? A home that is yours, that can't be taken away from you, right? And it's not just that, like sense of security within yourself, being comfortable in who you are and not wavering, right? Having a firm identity, right? That is what is coming in for you. But you can't see yourself clearly if you've been under the influence, or if you have a lot of perceptions that are projected onto you and you're in a situation where you're not having healthy relationships and connections with the people around you. So and those unhealthy connections and attachments are shifting how you see yourself, right? That's kind of what you're being called to release and evaluate and figure out, even if it's through therapy, right? I can see that. So let me pull from this healing oracle. I have two more decks. I have this healing oracle, then I have my new deck. It is the New Orleans Oracle. I'm excited about it, but I'm gonna get more energy. Tell me more about my pile two. What door is opening for them? Yours is all about clearing, because it feels like you're in an abundant energy. Let me rephrase that. You can't see the abundance that is around you and available to you. Like your door is right there, right? You just can't find it. It's like the light's off and you can't find the handle to open it. It's not even locked. You don't need the skeleton key. Your door is unlocked. You just can't see. You're in the dark fighting for the handle. Okay? As soon as you turn that light on, you'll be fine. All right. Omens. I love this energy. So I do remember this card. The Omen card is about blessings. I'm going to read the book because I know how positive of a card it is. And I can't remember what the book says, but the book is right here. So Omens, let me tell you what this is. I'm telling you, you got money coming in. You got security coming in. 31 Omens. There it is. It says, hawks are messengers. The majestic bird flies high and reaches the realms of spirit. They bring back messages from both the seen and unseen. So subconscious as well as external messages are coming in for you. And it says it speaks of focus and intuition. And it's calling you, Pao-Tu, to pay attention to coincidences in your life right now. So when it comes to people, situations, and places, nothing is a coincidence. If you have an inkling, if you have a niggle, like if you have a little feeling, that's true. Okay, it's true. Because I say that because I feel like you can't see clearly, and this disturbs me. I don't like this energy for you. I love what you're stepping into. I love that it's going away. I just don't like that you've been in this energy, because I don't even know how long you've been in this space. And those of you that are not battling actual addictions, because it's disturbing enough when it's an addiction, it makes sense. But if you're not battling an actual addiction, it's not, I don't want to like diminish the addiction, but the addiction makes sense. You're under influence. You can't see clearly. Others of you have been either manipulated, or you're like over burdened, or like you're not really feeling 100% mentally, like whether it's depression, anxiety, it doesn't even have to be neurodivergent. That would make sense too, because that's something that's treatable. But if you just are in a circumstance that is making you feel crazy, or you got people making you feel crazy, that's not it. So it says to pay attention to the coincidences in your life. Like there's no coincidence, right? Call a spade, okay? But it says to focus on where you want to go. How high do you want to fly? When you see a hawk, someone is trying to get your attention. Your spirit guides, your ancestors may be trying to get your attention. And it says to pay attention to serendipity in your life. Be glad, for this is a reminder that you are living in the flow of energy. Things will soon shift for you. And an omen, I know, is like, it's a synchronicity, but it is something good to come, okay? Especially after all of these burdens, okay? Especially after these burdens. Number 10 of completion, okay? An omen after a burden, okay? Some of you may be mistaking a good omen for a burden. Like, especially if you're being called to release these people, situations, things, you're being moved from a space you're comfortable, right? It may be feeling like a burden, but it's an omen, okay? It is not a burden. It's time to let that go, okay? Stripping illusions. Can't make it up, okay? Stripping illusions. Illusion-based energy, illusion-based energy, illusion-based energy. You have to step out of that. You have to see things clearly, okay? This is fine here, okay? So I'm gonna close this out. That's really what it is. Like, you've got, everything is available to you. You're fine. You're gonna be fine. You have so much blessings coming in, specifically as it relates to stability and money and finances, okay? Just because you've got Venus and you've got house 2, and mental health is a huge thing. Like, one of your biggest like blessings that is coming out in the door is your mental stability. Like, you will be in the best mental space you've ever been in, okay? That's the next door. You'll be stripping illusions. You'll see things clearly. You'll release unnecessary burdens. You'll step into your omens. Okay, so let me pull this New Orleans Oracle deck, and I'll get one here on the left side. Let me just get this out of the way. I'll pull one on the left side that says advice, and then I'll put one on the right for more clarity on the door that is opening. So advice, door that's opening. What's in that door? What's at the end of that door? Okay. Tell me on my left side, please give me advice for pile 2. Give me advice for pile 2. Okay, they came out together. I'll take them. Advice. What's in that door? I'll see what's at the bottom as well, just because we can. It's happening in pile 1. So here's the thing. Now I have to take it this way, because these came out together, as in you had 2 things that you needed to do for advice, and these came off the top together, as in these are 2 things that you're going to get. So it may be a dual energy, it may be duality, it may be things that are a focus on a polarity, but let's look at it and see what is the advice. End of a cycle. Your advice is to close the cycle, okay? Close that cycle and that addiction, work on it. It's not going to be an overnight progress. Let it go. Let go of the attachments. Let go of those connections that don't serve you. Let go of the situations, places, and things that don't serve you anymore. It's time to release. Some of you, it could literally be a home. Like a home, like a physical house. Some of you are trying to save something that can't be saved. If you have a house that needs to be gutted, okay? It's time to let it go. That was a very specific circumstance, but it's time to let it go. It's not even it may be a health hazard at this point, right? It's time to let it go. It's more of a burden than a blessing at this point, okay? Some of you took on too much. It doesn't even have to be a house that needs to be gutted. Some of you took on like maybe you took too big of a responsibility. Like, it could be a home, it could be A job, because you took on too much responsibility and it's time to let it go because it's not for you yet. Okay? So close that cycle. It's too much of a burden. It's affecting your mental health. It may be fueling addictions. Okay? Right? Because like something that was a blessing that turned out to be a burden could be reading it that way as well. Like stop pretending you don't realize. I can see that, but it says gratitude. So be grateful that the cycle is closing. Be grateful for the opportunity to recover, right? Be grateful for the opportunity to heal. Be grateful for the ability to move on, right? So let me see. Oh, that's turning, but that's not how it wants to come out. So what's in the door? Okay, power. Look at that, stepping into your power. So this is actually Marie Laveau. So I think I mentioned the witchy power. You said releasing is okay. So like, let me talk to my witches real quick. So let that cycle close. You're going to have a lot to be grateful for. Like step into your gratitude. If you're a practitioner of any way, you gratitude, an energy of gratitude will make you see results, and knowing when to release, right? Knowing when to put what you put out and let it go, and when to close the cycle. But what you have coming in when you stop trying to overly control and fixate and obsess on certain things is you will step into that power like Marie Laveau. You'll start to see manifestations. So if you haven't been seeing manifestations, or if you've had things backfire on you, this is why. You will step into your power much more effectively. You have Elusive Priestess. I have to see the book on that one because that's interesting. That's very interesting. What's at the end is people won't be able to touch you. So if you're in that targeted section where you're like, oh, I don't do magic. I don't even believe in that. Like some of you are Christian, live your life, and you've been targeted, at the end of the door, this power of protection is at the end of the door, because it's hard. It's difficult. I'm hearing some of you, your spirit guides and whatnot cannot protect you from sources that you're clinging to. If you're actively trying to be in company of people that are vultures, then how are they going to protect you when you're adamant about being there, right? It's like your addictions. How are you going to heal when you're actively poisoning yourself, right? That's the space, right? So stepping into the door gives you that power, that protection, that elusive priestess. But I do want to open this book real quick and see really quick. All right, what's a lot of words? Okay, it is the embodiment of the obvious not being so obvious. She is an entity that you know but may not have proof of. Right, it's things appearing like in miracles. Actually, it's actually kind of a miraculous energy. So you have miracles. It says the situation that you're thinking of has much learning potential for you. However, your focus has been placed on details that will not help you gain the forward movement you desire. See, you're holding yourself back. What is the goal? How can you work towards the goal within your own power? There's that word again. It says there are some immovable energies at work, and you will likely grow tired and irritable if you continue focusing your efforts in this current way. It is time to be flexible and acknowledge that there are additional ways to accomplish your goal, even if they are not what you consider to be the preferred way. The good news is that you have everything that you need to move forward if you're willing to let go of how you have believed things, quote unquote, should be. Yeah, I'm knocking all over the camera because y'all, I know what I'm talking about. I do not need these cards. I love that the book is here to back me on everything that I've been saying, especially those of you that are trying to manifest very specific circumstances, those of you that have been doing witchcraft or workings of any kind to manifest very specific circumstances, right? I'm not talking about protection, because I do see those of you that have just been protecting. If you've laid protection and people are leaving, that is why. Let them go, right? If you lay protection and then like your job went away, I'm sorry. Let's start looking for another one. Let's stop trying to recover. You know what I mean? Like it needs to go away, because that was the point, right? Some of you did magic and it worked and you were wondering what happened. So I'm not laughing at you. That's how it works, right? So just be cognizant of that, right? Let it close. Be grateful that it is leaving, because some of you, this is what you asked for. You just didn't realize that it was going to be in this form. Others of you are still trying to cling to something that is like, let it go and be grateful so that you can have what's actually for you. Others of you where you've been targeted in a sense, it's like remove yourself from that space, right? Be grateful that it's revealed to you, and then you'll be protected. You won't have to worry about that ever again, that energy of that kind of circumstance, situation, or groupings of people or whatever and anymore, because you'll be in that protected space of not of letting it go, right? Because you don't align with that anymore. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that is all I have for you today, Pal 2. Hopefully it resonated, and if it did, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay in the know on the content we post here on this channel. Thank you for watching. All right, Pile 3. So let's see what your skeleton key is opening, right? Skeleton keys. Some of you might like tea, or maybe we're gonna spill some tea, okay? But the skeleton key opens any door, right? So basically, it's like anything, all of the possibilities, whatever is next for you, things you need to know. Still working through the title a little bit. But this is a timeless reading, even though some of you will be looking to see what's going to happen in the near future, specifically with that Lionsgate portal. Like I said, if you see this beyond that point, then this is a timeless reading for sure. It's just I have a lot of real-time viewers. So let me get what's behind your next door, like what door is opening, all of the things. Let me get an overview. Tell me about my third key, Pile 3. What's going on here? What does Pile 3 need to know? What door is opening for my Pile 3? Give me a message for my Pile 3. Okay. Wormwood. Interesting. Okay, let's see what the book has to say, and then we'll take the bottom. Wormwood. So it is Mars, Pluto, and Moon energy, and it is the element of fire. So it says, I purify myself from all toxic influences. Some of you did watch all 3 piles. I will say this, but it says, I purify myself from all toxic influences. And so this could be energy, space, situations. It could be, like some of you, it is health and wellness space, right? It could be diet, right? The things you're eating, the things you're consuming. It could be the things you're consuming on a spiritual, energetic basis, the people you're connecting with, right? Things you're letting influence you, your mentality. But it does say all toxic influences. So you're clearing toxic influences. And the divination meaning says that wormwood will appear when we need to purge and protect ourselves from toxic forces, ranging from simple pests to more poisonous serpents in our life. Wormwood urges us to put more energy into our active boundaries and speak out when they are being crossed by others. With this vitality reversed for ourselves rather than the parasitical forces of our life, we have renewed connection to our inspiration, our muse, taking form here as the green fairy of the wormwood. And then it talks about what song are we called to compose, to sing, follow the passion, and don't let anything get in your way. There's some draining energy around you. There's some draining situations, circumstances, possibly people, all of the things that you are called to purge, okay? Definitely could be coming from other piles. If not, that's fine. But what are you needing to release, right? I purify myself from all toxic influences. That is a message for you to walk through that door. And honestly, walking through the door that is open for you, once you step through, that will naturally purge. So once you move forward with something, or your passions, or the things that light you up, make you feel happy and joyful, those toxic influences, whatever they are, whether they be people, circumstances, anything external, whether they're inner demons, will naturally leave you. They won't resonate anymore. They won't align with you. Okay? So let's see what's at the bottom. Ivy, number 14. Interesting. So I don't know why I'm holding on to that page. Like I'm like, you may be holding on to something, right? That you need to purge. So let me see. 14. Righty. Okay, and it is the planets of Saturn, Venus, Moon, and Jupiter, and it's the elements of earth and air. Now, Ivy says, I am rooted in the blessings of my life. So here's the thing. The next door that opens for you, pile 3, this is what makes you different from the other piles. And it could still resonate if you pick multiples, but this is what makes you different. Naturally, the door you're naturally stepping through, that you're choosing to step through, or that you're being pushed through, is like literally it's like a barrier. The door you're stepping through, everything that is behind that door that you're stepping away from, literally can't cross the threshold. It's like the salt, like with the witches. It's like they can't, like nothing can cross. That energy cannot come with you, whether it is inner demons, inner turmoil. We talked about addictions earlier, whether it is toxic people, whether it is toxic patterns, situations, just like psychic attacks, whatever it is, whatever the toxic influence is, literally cannot cross the threshold. That is the door that you are stepping into. That's what's different here. It can't. It literally can't. Even if that means that you can't go either. But I don't feel like that's the dominant energy of you not going. I feel like you're going, pile 3. Okay? Like you are. Why? Because it says, I am rooted in the blessings of my life. It seems like you're determined, or something energetically, like you're aligned with a very determined energy, whether you're conscious of it or not, to step through this new door. Okay? And in it, you'll realize so much that is pulled off of you. It's like a release. Like there's so much that's going to be pulled off of you that you won't even, like when you get to the other side completely, right now you're stepping through. Once you get through that door, once you reach the other side, you'll be like, oh my gosh, there was so much stuff on me. There was so much gunk on me, right? It's like taking a shower and like realizing how dirty you were after you like went to the gym or something. Like, wow, I was really sweaty. That's the energy I'm getting for this pile so far. And that's why it says I'm rooted. Like it can't be taken from you. It's literally you're going, and all of the stuff is just gonna fall off. Like this is why you guys needed this reading. But let's see what the divination meeting said. It says, reach up and out while remaining rooted when Ivy appears in a reading. Ivy climbs the ancestral Celtic cross as she spreads her angelic wings under a waning moon. How can you grow in a situation without losing your roots? What must you bind to protect you or bring closer to you to unite with it? Ivy can indicate good luck and abundance even when others around you are struggling. Oh. It says, so here's the thing. Something about you, pile 3, I feel like you're either stepping out of an energy where you're kind of a light in the dark. Like there's a lot of negative energy that's been around you or that has surrounded you, whether it's been people, right? Whether it's been situations, whether it's literally just been like dirt. Like when I say dirt, I mean like it could literally be an impoverished setting, right? Like a low income setting. I don't know why that's coming through, but even in that, you've had a prosperous mentality, a prosperous energy, right? And you were always going to step out of it. You were never meant to linger in that, regardless of where you were in your past. And as you step into where you're meant to be, whether we're talking about energetically or physically, it just like everything associated with that just peels off of you. And the reason why I bring that up is because it says that how can you grow in a situation without losing your roots? You'll always be who you are at your core, your history, right? Your struggles, your perseverance, right? Like, because in some of you, it could be even ancestral. You'll always be who you are. You'll always be where you come from. But that doesn't mean you need to cling to the negative aspects of that, if that makes sense. The things that hold you back. You can release any things you associate with your culture or your ancestry or the groups that you were. Like if you went to a certain school, you don't have to cling to that. If you were a part of a certain club, you don't have to cling to that. You can take what's good from that and take it with you, but there's no need to bring the whole thing. It is not you. It's not a part of you. It's part of your history. It's a part of where you've been, but it's not you at your core, right? For you to be like, I guess the word is eternally loyal to something like that, if that makes sense. I hope I'm describing this energy appropriately. Yeah, but it does say, what must you bind to protect you or bring closer to you to unite with it, right? It talks about knowing what to take with you and knowing what needs to go. Okay? Some of you are going to have to learn and figure out what is it that is useful. Like you're right now you're packing. Some of you might physically be moving. What can come with you through this door and what cannot? And knowing the difference is kind of that the blessing, right? And the interesting part is whether you know the difference or not, the door will determine what and who can come. Whether we're talking about energy and actual things and people, right? So you don't have to worry about making this decision. The door will not let it pass if it is not meant to come with you through this door. And I kind of love that energy. You don't have to be confused. So let's see. Tell me more about my pile 3. What door is opening for my pile 3? I heard the door of discernment. Interesting. Okay, I've got all 3 of my cards. It's just going to trickle. Everything. So when you step through the door, when you step into your next blessing, you've got something coming. You've got something very prosperous coming your way, whether it is an opportunity that is spiritual, like an awakening. A lot of you, I do feel like it's going to be something tangible, an opportunity that will, because it does feel material based, right? Knowing what can and cannot come with you. And we talk about prosperity, but how do I describe this? You won't even know how to take it, right? Because it'll be a trickling effect, because things will fall apart and together at the same time, because what cannot come through the door will spiral out of control. It'll either be like tower moments for that energy, right? I don't want to scare you by using the word tower as in it's like chaos. It doesn't have to necessarily be chaos, but it's like if you try to bring it through the door, or if it tries to come with you, or if it's people and they try to come with you, literally won't be able to cross the threshold, okay? And that may shock you, that may surprise you, that may make you wonder why. You may try to pull them to no avail, but what's happening is that these people, these situations, these habits, right? These mentalities, this perspective is not beneficial to this new life beyond that door. So let's go in order. You've got the 8 of shells of moving, right? Quest and renewal, moving on, moving beyond it. I told you, you're walking through the door already, for sure. 6 of shells, that's the past, and it says sentiment, joy. This is nostalgia though. This is missing the old life, the old people, the old situations, what was familiar, right? Not wanting to lose sight of who you are, reminiscing. That there is a nostalgia here, okay? I can see that with you, pile 3, but moving beyond it, right? Moving beyond it, because you've got this ace of shells, which is new. Right? It says happiness and abundance, but it's new. It's a new energy, a new life. So what's behind the door is a new life, literally. It's like a rebirth. It's like starting a whole new identity. I feel like this is my pile of reinvented individuals, of new identity individuals, like a whole new person. Like you're a whole new person beyond this door. Someone that you may not even completely recognize. And I could see some of you in a bittersweet, nostalgic way missing your old self, your old life. But the reality is you're meant to be beyond that. You're supposed to step into that 8 of shells. I mean, it's happening regardless, but that's really what it is. All of these feelings and emotions. I feel emotional fulfillment coming through on the deepest level. Okay? The world, fulfillment and celebration, like so much. It's gonna, whatever it is, whatever this opportunity is, or these opportunities, it will be a completed cycle, a cycle that is closed, and it will be a celebration, obviously. But like I said, it's like a new world, okay? And it will be so fulfilling. Like, I don't even want to talk about the fact that I get a heavy material abundance. I don't have any pentacles on the table, but like, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how much physical stuff it is or isn't, because at the end of the day, physical stuff and abundance can kind of make you happy, but whatever leads to that prosperity that I see will make you feel good. You won't just be financially prosperous but doing something that's not fulfilling for you. You will be very, very happy, very inspired, very creative. Okay? And this beautiful energy here is why, like, those certain influences and energies that you've been around historically, just truly, they do not align with it. It just does not, like, scientifically cannot come with you. Like, you cannot, like, for example, I used it's easier for people that are like skeptics when we talk about magic and energy and all of that. I like to use the example that has been heavy in this pile. I hope all of you are okay health wise, but the addiction that came through very heavily in some in another pile. Sorry, I'm like stuttering over my words. For example, that's a perfect example of, if you're stepping into a fulfilled, emotionally, mentally fulfilled space, obviously you cannot be that and have those ailments simultaneously, right? You cannot be emotionally fulfilled, but also be in a position that makes you want to do that, right? So that's why, that's an example that I'm using now, so you can see, and it's not just substances, it's people and situations and habits overall. Like, if your routine is not in alignment with the life that you would like to see around you, then those habits have to change, right? It's not just about the extremes of an addiction. It could simply be that the way that you organize your day-to-day routine. Like, if you want to be a very productive person, you cannot wake up at noon, right? Things like that. So habits, routines, energies, all of those things will have to change for this new life. But you'll be feeling a lot better, healthier, and more fulfilled as a result. This is kind of a vague pile though, because it's not giving me any specifics of what it's related to. It's just showing me the nostalgia of who you used to be. Don't dwell in that for sure though. Like, don't cling to that nostalgia. So let me see. Tell me more about pile 3. What's behind that door that is opening for my pile 3s? Give me more information on my pile 3s. The sun. Sun is behind the door. Self-express and embody truth. Your personality, your true personality and way of being. Your true level of expression. Who you actually are. This is why you're a whole new person. Some of you, especially if we're talking about health, it doesn't even have to be just strictly addictions. It could be any type of mental health. It could be depression, anxiety, all of the things. Or it could just be negative external factors where you're in environments where you don't feel comfortable being yourself. You're going to be able to very comfortably, very openly, very loudly be who you naturally are. And because of that, like, it feels like a release to peace, right? It feels like a release to peace. And I'm just like, that's why this pile isn't so loud and super active. It feels like just chilling. Like, you're like finally at peace with who you are. You don't feel like you have to be, I'll take this one instead of shuffling. You have to be all over the place. You have Pluto. Yeah, transform. A whole new person, a whole new personality. Honestly, like, if we're talking about relationships, because I mentioned like people that can't come, if it's relationships, these people don't know you anymore. Or this person does not know you anymore, or will not know you, or will not align with the version of you that will be behind that door. So that's why we have that, the sun and Pluto, like very brightly shining energy, but also vividly changing, like very clearly changing, because the sun is all about visibility. You can see things clearly when the sun is out. Clearly different, clearly changed. Right? Clearly transformed. Totally different person. Like, a whole new you is behind the door. I'm like, that's a little scary. I'm not going to lie. Being a whole new person, I could see the nostalgia, because you won't even recognize yourself. And that's why you have the nostalgia. You're already starting to see the change. You're a totally different person. You're already starting to lose sight of who that person was. And it's for the best. You are a chameleon. You're meant to change. I don't know how many times in this life, but behind this door, you're meant to be another person. I don't know that I've ever gotten this kind of a read of you're going to be a whole new person. Like, some of you may literally alter your appearance in a way that makes you almost unrecognizable, if not unrecognizable. And you've got sextile, a combination of tension and flow, potential and a rewarding situation. It's about balance. It talks about I think I'm trying to think. Okay, so is that not what it said in this book? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Sorry, I don't mean to take long. I'm just trying to see. I don't think that's the one. Is it the ivy? I felt like that line stood out to me. Okay, so like, what must you bind to protect you or bring closer to unite with? Right? Tension and flow. What do you flow towards? What do you tense up and push away? Like, what do you resist and what do you allow? That's kind of that energy, that tension and flow that I was getting. And a potential and a rewarding situation. There's a lot of potential here, right? But it's up to whether you're going to resist the things that need to be resisted and flow into the things that need to be attracted to you, that you need to be pursuing. All right? That's the difference maker. It's up to you. But that's what's behind the door. A whole new life. So let me see. Tell me more about my pile 3. What's behind the door for my pile 3? And this is so vague, like a whole new person. Like, what? Some of you, it is a whole new person, like a whole new connection, a whole new relationship, a whole new culture, a whole new, like, I say life because it's true, a whole new world, literally, like, you know, perception. Number 9. Let's get the book, because that's a loaded word. That's a very, very loaded word. Interesting. So it says, with energy, sometimes a slight shift in perception is all that's needed. Well, that's you, pile 3. It says, remember that nature strives to retain balance. Ooh, I love these cards messages because they literally just back me. I love the books that back me, right? But again, nature strives to retain balance. And the reason why that's important is because I'm telling you that boundary at that door, balance. You can't put things and people in settings they do not belong. You belong on the other side of this door. Unfortunately, some of the things, habits, perceptions, and people and belief systems and all of those things you associate with your identity cannot cross that threshold, okay? That's why that line is very important. But it says, it is only our perception and labels that cause us to think otherwise. And it asks you, pile 3, is there a situation in your life where you are viewing from a very rigid perspective? Are you certain that you are at the center of all the drama around you? Perhaps cultivating the ability to step outside the drama and see the issue from every different view will shift your judgment of this person or situation from intolerable to simply it is, and as it is, it won't remain so for long. Letting go of the tether that holds you to a certain viewpoint also frees the situation up to go the natural way and get back into balance. So some of you are resisting this transformation into a new person. Like, you're clinging to your, like, I'm going to use the words like cultural roots, ancestry, the way you were raised, your habits, right? Like, for better, for worse, like you're clinging to a version of yourself that no longer exists. That came through very prominently just now. So listen again, pile 3, you're clinging to a version of yourself that no longer exists. It's a closed cycle. So, right, moving forward, your perception of yourself, your perception of the world, your perception of people, right? It's different now if you really sit with yourself. Tell me more. I'll take one more. I'll take the bottom. Movement into balance. I love this. Movement into balance. So we got perception, which talks about nature shifting into balance, and we are moving into balance. You are moving into balance. You're moving into who you're meant to be, and your world around you is morphing into a life that that person is aligned with, right? Everything is moving into balance. Some things are going to go away, some things will be forced out, and some things will be brought in, right? Because that's why the things have to go that don't serve the space, because there's other things that are better, more effective, more aligned with this energy that you are in, this person that you are and are becoming, right? And you don't have space for it because you got all of these old attachments, beliefs, and whatnot. Okay, so movement into balance. I'll even open a book for this one because it's the first one. Why not? Right? It says the sun balances the moon just as the earth, the water, and the sky remain in precious balance. Okay? You are moving from unbalanced ideas and lifestyles into a more balanced way of being. And it says a situation may call for some tweaking to adjust it into a balanced mode. Look at the energy and emotions you're putting out to the universe, your world, your relationships, or goals. Balance that with the energy you are allowing yourself to receive. Okay? If you're not receiving enough, you may be unconsciously giving more to restore a perceived balanced state. Okay? It says to step out of that automatic response and listen to your guides. That was loud. Listen to your guides and your soul for what this situation truly warrants. So you're not, some of you aren't listening to your guides, and that's a thing. And everyone's not spiritual, everyone's not in tune, not everyone can hear, but take it as your intuition. Take it as you're not trusting your intuition. You're not listening to your instincts. You're not listening to your body. When your body is reacting to a certain situation, to a certain person, to certain foods, right? Like when your body's reacting, right? When your mood is shifting, when your energy feels off and you're not acknowledging that, you're not really helping yourself. So that's the thing, okay? Stripping illusions. It's a bit different. Came out in the same placement. Maybe you did want pile 2, but stripping illusions here talks about in this pile, not just seeing things clearly, but being clearly, right? Like allowing people to see you clearly, being who you are authentically, being your most purest, authentic self, being this new person that you are, allowing yourself to change, not trying to cling to that version of yourself, not trying to pretend that you're still that person. Okay? So let me close this out. I am going to pull from this New Orleans Oracle deck, and I am going to get one card on the left, and that card is going to tell me your advice that you need to do to step through this door or to reap the full benefits of stepping through the door. And then the card I'm going to take and put right here on the right side will tell me what actually is behind the door. So let me see. And I don't know why I've been doing it that way, but that's just the energy. So that's your advice. What's behind the door? Alrighty. And I have a book just in case we decide we would like to use it. Okay. Your advice, pile 3. Duality. Wow. Okay, so this came on a different pile. Some of you definitely are carrying over, but your advice is balance and also duality and accepting that you are who you were, but you're also who you're going to be. Like, it's not necessarily a death. You didn't lose that version of you. That person is still there, but you've grown, you've evolved, you've changed, right? And duality is accepting the duality of life, right? Not necessarily in a white and black way, but you do have yin and yang. You have tension and flow of knowing when you need a boundary and knowing when you need to be receptive, of knowing, you know what I mean? Like, let me see. I'm getting a lot from this duality card. Let's see what the book says, because there's something there that I'm not quite grasping. It says it's always good to know oneself and understand where your boundaries begin and end. So we were talking about that. It says, however, just as life is fluid and ever changing, we too must be open to flow with the winds of change as needed. You have picked this card because you have experienced an inner conflict over how you present yourself to the world. I mentioned how you present yourself to the world. It says you have many different sides, including some that you may not have even explored yet. You are being supported at this time to be present with each moment without worry of always being viewed a certain way. Finally, allowing your exterior to reflect your interior will lead to acceptance and healing for both yourself and those around you. I'm so happy because I can just feel the energy of just this authentic self. Be who you are. Be who you are. Some of you, specific message just could be gender and sexual identity based, right? But a lot of you, even if not, even if so, this is just about being you and not worrying about how other people think you should be. And the nostalgia in the Six of Shells, the reason why some of these people can't come forward with you is because they are clinging to a version of you that does not exist anymore. So some of these connections and situations are going to go because they're not going to completely embrace the change that is you. Like, you are not the person that they knew and would like to keep knowing. Okay? That's why we have duality. Like, you don't worry about what other people are thinking as you're changing, right? Because some of you, it is giving ancestral and cultural ties. Okay? Because those are the dominant: ancestral, cultural, gender, sexual identity. Those are the heaviest. Some of you, it's literally just a personality shift. But I feel like this personality shift is such a drastic shift that it would be impacting one of those categories I listed. Because personality shift is one thing, because but it's a whole, it feels like a questioning of belief systems to a certain degree, like totally different. Okay? So yeah, for sure, you're not that person that those people align with anymore. And then you have let loose. Be yourself. Be who you are. Okay? It's like Mardi Gras on Bourbon Street. Do what you do. I love that. So let me see what that card has to say. And I say that because that's literally what's behind the door. Like I mentioned, that this is your advice, is to be is duality. Oh, I found what I couldn't tap. This is very interesting. So the boundary that you're going to have to learn, because that's what was struggling. I was struggling with what the boundary actually was for this pile. You will be able to, right? This is duality, tension and flow, yin and yang. There is still that person that you used to be is still in you, right? You still have some of those traits in moderation. You can go back at any point. You can go back and forth across the door. You can go in, you can live in your new life. You can go back to the old life. You can go back and visit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's a physical visit or just a temporary energy, right? Like like music or whatever. I don't know. You can go back. It's just that these people cannot come forward. This energy cannot come forward. This cannot come into your new world. But you can always take a step back, right, to your past, to your nostalgia. You can always step back into your past temporarily. That's that duality. I was wondering what that was. That's the advice. You don't have to let it go. You just have to balance tension and flow. Okay? Some of you are being asked to take a more moderate approach to something. I'm not talking about those of you that were stepping into this reading with addictions, like let it go completely. You know yourself and your mental health. But some of you, due to circumstances, maybe you've overindulged in certain areas. It's saying you don't have to let it go completely just because it's gotten out of control and toxic. You can pull back and know when to go back, right? And know when to leave it alone. You can always go back for a visit, but you live in this star energy, right? So what's behind the door is let loose, have fun, right? Let it go. Okay. Mardi Gras. I didn't even realize it was a Mardi Gras card because the whole deck is themed that way. So I just was thinking that it was just how people think New Orleans is, honestly. But it is the Mardi Gras card. It says, everyone knows that Mardi Gras is the celebration of all celebrations. If this card has shown up in your reading, it means that it's time to let loose and forget all of the obligations that have been plaguing you. Even if just for a few hours, your ability to experience fulfillment and enjoyment in the moment has been compromised due to overthinking, managing life's obligations, and experiencing a lack of joy in your day-to-day life. This current imbalance has started to affect your generally positive outlook, and it's time for some revitalization. Cut loose even just a little and see how much positively affects your energy and overall outlook. Spirit says behind the door is let the good times roll. Just let it go, right? So that's the energy is, you're being advised to allow yourself to be who you are, be who you want to be. Go back when you want to versions of yourself when you're nostalgic temporarily, but let loose, right? What's behind the door is like a party. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Behind the door is celebration, right? You got celebration, literally the world card here, and the Knight of Acorns chasing it, but you got celebration and you've got celebration. Ooh, this is like a great pile because what's behind that door is amazing. You just can't be afraid of it, okay? So yeah, that's all I have for you today, pile 3. Hopefully it resonated. If it did, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay in the know on the content we post here on this channel. Thank you for watching. All right, pile 4. So let's see what your skeleton key is going to unlock. So like, we're gonna look to see what's kind of incoming, what you need to know, what's behind the next door that's opening for you, all the good things like that. So I'm gonna hop right into it. I'm still playing with the title, which is why it may seem like I'm unsure of what the reading's about. I am certain about what the reading's about. I just don't know exactly what I'm gonna like name the video when you see it. But the thumbnail says skeleton key. And if you don't know what that is, that's essentially a key that unlocks any door. So it's kind of like figuring out, what it is that's gonna come next for you. This cute little spin on it. So tell me about my pile 4. So okay, all right, I'm not gonna fight back. I'll take both. I'm debating on whether or not I want that bottom because I now have 2. And the interesting thing that this feels really familiar. I'm like 100% certain this has happened before when I said 2. So this is not a love reading, but if it ends up being resonating in that sense for you, it's okay. But this came out already, this poppy card, and then you have this cannabis card. So let's see what it's all about. Let's check it out. Yeah, I'm not going to take the bottom just because I've already got 2. We'll roll with it. Okay, let me move this to the side. I'll open the book and see what cannabis says. We all know what that is, but let's see what the magical book has to say about it. Now, it is ruled by Moon, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune, and the elements of water and earth. So I am open, I am connected, I am joyful. Okay. So what's behind the open door, or what door you're going to walk through? Being open, being connected, and being joyful, which makes sense. But the divination meaning does say be aware, be sensitive, connect, and commune. When cannabis shows up, feel connected and play. Now is a time for letting down rigid defenses and enjoying the world. Find your bliss in simple everyday things and be aware of the vast levels of life all around you. Okay, it says seen and unseen, physical and spiritual. The lion is symbolic of relaxed royalty. Its innate strength being from being rather than only doing. Okay. And it talks about tarot. Okay. So you know what? This is actually a really relaxed energy. And the hilarious thing is I forgot to say when I started to record, if you notice the lighting is a bit different. I forgot all about you, pile 4. I'm not gonna lie. I did. Like I ran off to do something else, and then I got like lost living my life. And I was like, oh shoot, I have another pile to film. So I came back and now here we are filming you. But it makes sense with that energy, like really relaxed, just rolling with it and all of the things. And so far we've gotten Poppy a few times over these readings, but Poppy is also a card of illusions and all of the things. Now I probably will open a book and just so you can see, but the reality is, I'm not gonna lie, some of y'all may be like Party City, like really Party City. Just watch it that you don't do it in excess, because I'm not gonna lie, this combination is 100% drugs, right? You got the cannabis, and Poppy is literally in the book, because I've read it a couple of times now. It talks about drugs. So just, if that's not you, we'll develop what that is. It probably talks about relaxing and just rolling with life, and not, again, it did talk about not being rigid in this cannabis card. So like trying not to overly control things and just kind of rolling with life as it happens. That could be it, right? Because under the influence is a loss of control of the self. But like this is heavy, heavy influence. I don't know what y'all got going on. This is different. But let's see. Let's see. All right. Rest and regeneration is essential to my health. It does talk about relaxing, breaking, vacation. Again, like fun, just living your life. But the Poppy does talk about illusions and dreams and all of the things. And when you go to the magical meaning, it talks about the history of it being associated with magic and medicine and opiates and like morphine and heroin. Like, just y'all be safe outside, okay? But yeah, I mean, that's what this combination talks about. So, you know, take care of your health, be safe, and all the things. So I need to see now what's going on with that. Where am I gonna put this? Let me put this down, and then I will pull from the tarot. Let me dig into this. What's next? Again, I do get that the dominant energy here is that energy of like rolling with the flow, being less rigid, and not trying to control everything, right? Because even like a couple of piles ago, I think I mentioned like I had like a witchy pile, trying to overly manifest, to overly control, to overly conjure all of the things, like even in a physical sense, like, oh, I'm gonna control this, I'm gonna map out my day step for step, minute by minute. You know, maybe relax a little bit. I think that's really the overwhelming energy. And you're going to be put in, the door you're walking through is going to put you in a position where you're able to just roll with it. I'm also seeing here where that combination talks about being highly intuitive and in tune with spirit and your intuition, kind of just rolling with faith. Like just like something, you may have an opportunity soon that you need to take based on blind faith. Like it may not make any sense, but it's like spirit driven, if that makes, like, it's not a logical decision, right? It's something that like someone may jokingly say, are you on drugs? If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting that vibe. So tell me about what's behind this door that's opening for my pile fours. Yeah, 10 of shells, blessings, well-being. Okay, it doesn't even, okay, so here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. Before I got the underlying shadow, which could be like a heavy under the influence, drugs, alcohol vibe, I did the first, because it didn't make any sense that this combination came out together with it being possibly an excess, because this is still excess now. Like 10 of shells is like a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. So in a shadow sense, it could be a lot of feelings, but it feels like blessings and well-being. The good thing, those of you on the lighter side of the shell, behind that door is like blessings that don't even seem real. Okay, like it's almost too good to be true, right? Look, 3 of shells, playfulness, bliss. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Some of you are gonna be living the best life. Like that phrase, your best life, was literally made for you. Just be mindful. Don't overdo it. Everything in balance. Because I could see in a shadow sense you getting wrapped up too much, right? Too much partying, too much drinking, too much cannabis, too much of whatever you do recreationally. You know what I'm saying? Just be mindful. And I say that because 10 of shells, 3 of shells. There's a lot of feelings, a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure, a lot of socializing, like living your best life. It's a very outside pile, okay? Loving that for you, but like I said, everything in moderation, okay? Or maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's that message, is that you've been rigid so long that you need like a wild period. Like you need one good vacation that's gonna, like, you're gonna just do something chaotic. Maybe that's what it is. Let's see. This is my last one. I'll take the bottom. King of Feathers, logic and justice. Okay, if you're the King of Feathers, that's interesting that you're gonna step into that energy, because that makes sense. Logic and justice. I mentioned that control and pleasure, control and fixed rigid energy. If that is you, right, then it makes sense why you're gonna step into this fulfilled, social, celebratory, relaxed energy. Okay, because you like to act from logic, you like to act from balance, like you do everything in a routine, a structure. And in this next phase, you're gonna have to learn how to roll with things sometimes. Just roll with it. You can't be in control. Sometimes you have to be under the influence of spirit. Not necessarily literally under the influence of anything, but sometimes you just have to let life happen, right? You can't be in control of everything. For better, for worse. Right? The traveler, exactly. Aquarius energy, adventure, potential. You're going to go on an adventure. Your next era, your next space, the door that's opening for you is one of adventure. It's one filled with passion. It's one filled with joy. It's one filled with contentment. It is a very, very fun, very, very relaxed space. Okay? That's fun. I'm not gonna lie, with the Fool, that journey. You don't get to know where you're headed. You're just gonna go. I mentioned the leap of faith. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna have an opportunity that feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Something that doesn't even feel realistic, but a leap of faith you're gonna have to take. Literally a leap of faith. And it will be amazing. It will be amazing. And I feel very comfortable. Now, again, some of you, especially if you're coming from other piles, watch that under the influence energy. But I'm not going to lie. It didn't feel chaotic at first. That wasn't the dominant energy. It only was when I interpreted, you see that? The meaning of those cards and those herbs that I realized, oh, that's drugs. But when I was listening to my intuition, it was like, oh, this is fun. And then I got my confirmation with the 10 of shells. Not saying that like the drugs in excess is the fun, but I'm saying the energy that I was getting from the cannabis and the poppy was, oh, that's dreams and illusions and imagination and relaxation. That seems like vacation. And I got my confirmation, right? So I mean, you're about to like be really blessed, like once in a lifetime opportunity, not even seeming realistic, leap of faith, but rooted in that King of Feathers. Like it's gonna seem like something that could be crazy, right? Like that it doesn't make any sense. Like there's no way it's gonna work out this well. There's no way it's actually gonna be this fun. There's no way like I can be this happy. That's what I'm hearing from you, Pile 4. But that King of Feathers says that even though it feels too good to be true, it feels like something that's crazy, possibly even chaotic, there is logic and balance here. You have logic and justice. It's going to work out and it will be grounded and stable. I mean, air is not earth, but there will be logic and common sense associated with it. It's not, you're not floating away, is the way I'm trying to describe this energy. Okay, there is some intelligence, like here with it, rooting it. Okay, so let me pull from this deck, and so we can get more. Tell me more. I'm not gonna lie. This may be, and all the piles have something good. This may be the most positive pile because it doesn't even feel like real life. Okay, like it does not, because that's why you have all of that dreamy, under the influence energy. It's like being taken by spirit almost. Like that's crazy. Let me see. Tell me more about my pile 4. I'm not gonna take all of those, but it is interesting. It will flip you upside down because all 3 of those cards came out in the reverse. That's interesting. So tell me more about what's behind the door for my pile 4. Opposition, imbalance, point of tension, and a power struggle. Yeah, you like to control things, right? You do, you really do. And that's why what's behind the door is, one, you won't be able to, you'll have to just roll with it. And that may make you extremely uncomfortable because it's the opposite of how you're used to living your life here with this opposition card. You're not used to flowing and being, honestly, some of you here do not drink or anything, like take medicines, any of those things, because you don't like being in a loss of control of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with living a completely sober life and just not having a desire for that. But it's not that. It's the reason. It's the, oh no, I need to be in control at all times energy that can be a bit excessive, right? Opposition. So don't fight against the transition where life is calling you to have more fun and to become more of a free spirit, right? To take some leaps of faith, to just go on an adventure, right? Everything doesn't have to be logical and balanced of the scales. Sometimes you can go off a little bit, you can spike a little bit, right? Everything in moderation. There were pals that lived the chaotic life of constantly being in a spike that are kind of balancing out now. And then there's those of you where all you do is like mellow, right? Your whole life is this cannabis mellow. Like you don't have any highs or lows. It's just stagnant, right? You're being challenged with this opposition, okay? And opposition also represents a life that's kind of the opposite of what you're used to living. That's what's behind that door, but in a good way, in a freeing way, in a liberated way. Let me get one more. I'll take the bottom. Tell me more about what's behind the door for my pile 4. I love it, love it, love it. So Aquarius and now Sagittarius, travel for sure. You're going to be traveling. You're going to be learning. You're going to be opening your perspective, broadening your mind, right? Because some of you do have a limited perspective and you're going to broaden that, okay, for sure. With the Sagittarius energy, it says optimism, exploration, and freedom. So exploration, freedom, adventure, and potential, right? Look at that. Beautiful energy coming through for you, all right? So let me see here. But definitely travel, definitely learning, expanding in spirit, regardless of religion or anything. Look at all of that fire. That is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. It says confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. Your energy, right? The door you're opening to will lead you to lots of passion. I feel that you are the king of feathers, regardless of gender, right? That is air sign energy. Doesn't mean that you have to be, right? There's a dominant Aquarius energy here, but it is also Gemini and Libra. But again, doesn't have to be masculine, but logic, justice, that's kind of your energy right here, okay? And you lack passion. Like justice energy kind of is a balance, right? Not going too high, not going too low. But when you live like that, you lack passion, you lack excitement, you lack adventure, right? You actually lack blessings because, you fear failure, so you can't be blessed. You just float. You stagnate, right? You can't get a blessing when you're stagnant. And that's your energy. That's been your energy historically. So you're going to grow, you're going to expand, and you're going to be challenged until you grow and expand with this combination here because the universe is pushing you into an era of passion. And I love that for you. Okay, I don't know why I'm trying to pick this up. I'm guessing that I must need the bottom because I did ignore the bottom because I didn't want too many cards. But here we are. We'll take the bottom. Willow. All right, I'll take it. Let's see what Willow says. I only have 2 more decks, so it's fine. But let me see because I technically broke my own rules when I didn't take that bottom because I always take the bottom. So let's see. Willow. It is Moon Venus energy and it is associated with water. And said, oh yeah, you needed this message. See, I'm trying to like control the table like you try to control everything in your life. It says, I bend and change as I need. Traveler, the full energy. That's the energy you're going to be stepping into. More free, more liberated, rolling with things. And it says the willow spirit takes shape in the clouds as seen through the branches of the tree as the sensitive scholar writes under its shade. Some of you may be writers. It says blackbirds fly through the branches as he is accompanied by a leaping frog. Why is this a story? Okay, we're talking about a totem of transformation. Some of you may tell stories, write stories. We're talking about a dragonfly. So we've got a frog, a dragonfly, and some bees. Okay? And then the willow tree is drawn when we need to be flexible to our situation by bending, changing, or adapting to the circumstance. It calls us to take steps to ease our pain and suffering and not become adamant in our perspective or feelings. That's about broadening your perspective, seeing things as more than black and white, more than how you feel, right? And it says, let it flow and change as the moon does. So yeah, I mean, you're going to learn to be more flexible, adaptive, accepting, right? Your perspective is going to broaden. That's the biggest thing. But you will be traveling, you will be studying, you will be learning, taking up new hobbies, finding new things. Some of you may dabble in the under influence stuff. Please, in moderation, don't hurt yourself. And then, yeah, I mean, just living your best life. If that's what I'm getting. This is truly a living your best life pile. Let me get 3. Tell me more about my pile 4. It's a very clean pile. You're rigid and a little stuck up and need to go live. That's really what the next door is. But I love that the door behind the door is really the opportunity. And I don't know what the specific opportunity is. Like maybe you'll be offered a vacation, you'll win a vacation, like you'll travel for like a relocation, like a job or something, or I don't know what the opportunity is. It'll be different for all of you, but whatever this opportunity is that's coming in very quickly. I mentioned earlier that this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find it, it's for you, near future, within a year. I don't look beyond the year because time, so much can change even within that time frame. But those of you watching it in real time, I kind of like mentally was associating it with like the Lionsgate portal, like 8-8. So like I said, that's only for those of you real time. So quickly something's gonna happen where you're gonna, like, it doesn't even have to be like a true vacation. Maybe you may have an opportunity to join some type of club or community endeavor, or you may even read a book that inspires you to do some more things. But it feels bigger than that. I'm not gonna lie, it feels bigger than going out with your friends, because it feels like something that's like it's a door that is opening to change your life, right? Especially with the Fool, like a completely new journey. And it, especially with Sagittarius, 10 of Shells, yeah, it's big and it doesn't feel real. It does not feel like a real thing, and it's gonna be scary with opposition, but it's gonna be amazing. And it's gonna be like, I must be under the influence, I must be on drugs if I'm gonna do this, like, or I must be dreaming, right? This must not be real, whatever it is. Okay, so let me see more. Tell me more about what's behind the door for pile 4, please. Movement into balance. Logic, justice, movement into balance. Right, you have to move into balance. If you've been living a very rigid life, then the pendulum is swinging towards a life of, flow. You're going to go from real stiff to flowy. And I think that's hilarious, because some of you are going to go from really uptight and like stiff, like iron khakis. I don't know where that came from, to like hippie. And that's hilarious to me. That's funny. Not necessarily full-fledged dramatic shift forever, but you'll loosen up for sure. Let's see. I think I want 3 total from this deck. And then you've got feminine energy, receptive, one with nature, divine feminine. Yeah, definitely feminine energy. So especially because that is active energy of constantly trying to control things. You're going to stop constantly trying to control things and just let things flow towards you. And when you allow things flow towards you, people, places, things, energies, you'll really realize how great life can be, because you won't be constantly chasing, constantly doing. The only thing you're going to be chasing is adventure and freedom, right? Everything else is just going to fall into place the way that it's meant to, and you'll be fine with that. You'll be at a lot more peace. I'm not going to lie, that's for sure. Okay. All of these repeating cards, goodness. Look at me. Stripping illusions though, right? I think that might have come out in a lot of the piles. I want one more because these are all repeating cards, but you're going to move in a balance, be a lot more receptive, stripping illusions, especially with the poppy. Some of you, this is a journey of sobriety, right? Because I've been getting that message. A lot of you, that's not what I was expecting at all. I love that energy for you. So like you'll be more sober, and because you won't be under the influence, you'll have a new sense of appreciation for life. You'll be able to experience things because you won't be numb. That's for those of you that where that energy came through. Okay. But a lot of you are going to just enjoy life. Again, there's always a polarity. There's some of you that have been overindulging in certain things that have been kind of hiding you from real life and stagnated you, and others of you are so rigid and your obsession is like possibly being straight and narrow, or your career, or especially if you're a writer of some kind, like you're really dedicated to whatever writing, speaking you're doing, and or learning, especially if we're talking academics. I can see the academics here. You've been studying your whole life, so you have not had the fun, the freedom, the enjoyment, the pleasure, right? And you're going to try some things. Maybe you'll have like a glass of wine because, you know, God forbid you do that. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just getting a very rigid personality on one end and someone that kind of lost themselves on the other end and is kind of rediscovering life and can clearly see for the first time, like a fresh pair of glasses. So stripping those illusions. And some, again, those of you on that really rigid side, your illusions are that you think you're perfect and that you have to be, and that you're afraid of making mistakes. So you're afraid to go out and enjoy life. So let's see. Tell me more. One more, please. It's behind the door. Teaching. I did mention being studious. So some of you may be teachers, maybe academics for real, because I'm getting a lot of writing and studying energy. So, you know, it could be academic, but it could be career, it could be whatever the straight and narrow path is for you. Could be deeply religious energy for some of you. But teaching is all about lessons. This next era, you're going to learn a lot, especially if you've been challenged, right? You're being challenged to grow and expand, like I mentioned, with this opposition into Sagittarius. You're supposed to grow and experience life, and you can't learn through just studying, through reading, through words, through listening to stories, right? You have to go out and experience, and you're stepping into a space where you're releasing that illusion, being more receptive into going out into the world and truly experiencing it. Notice you've got two trees, you've got willow, right? Like going outside in nature, right? Traveling, interacting with people, right? Socializing, party, all of the things, right? So let me see what's at the bottom. Struggle. Yeah, that's difficult for you. That's difficult for you. Some of you may be stepping into a slight period of struggle. I don't get that as a dominant energy, and I don't even get that it's a major hardship. I just get a slight opposition and a struggle, and that's more of your resistance because of your need to control, because you like to control, you like to manage everything, but being more receptive is what you're pushed to do, and you're going to get more opposition, more struggle as you resist that shift to being receptive. Go where you're called to go, do what you're called to do, because I'm seeing for sure that it's like, I can't believe this is not real. It's too good to be true. It's impossible. I can't, I won't. You know what I mean? Like, that's the energy I'm getting for whatever opportunity or situation is stepping in for you. Like, you're afraid of it because it seems too unlikely that it would be as good for you as it is. Okay? So don't like self-sabotage, because you'll create more opposition and struggle in your life. You're meant to go out and experience things so that you can learn. Okay? All right. So let me close this out. I think this might actually be the shortest pile. It's like straight to the point because it's not a lot of baggage. Like, if it's baggage, it's because you came from a previous pile. If you are purely a pile 4, now don't switch it up just because I'm saying that, but if you're purely a pile 4, like, you're stepping into an era. Like, it's not even real life. It's like a fairy tale. As long as you don't overly try, like, as long as you can step into that receptive energy, right? And trust your intuition and not struggle against the transformation and shift, right? Like, go through the door with ease, allow yourself to be guided through the door, and don't try to run away from it. You'll be fine. So let me get one card, well, 2 cards. So I'm going to put one on this left side, and that's going to be your advice. And then I'm going to put one on the right side, and that's going to tell me even more information, as much as I can get, about what is actually behind the door for you. It's a huge blessing, that's for sure. Tell me my advice for my pile 4, please. What's behind the door for my pile 4? Oh no, that's not what I want. Tell me my advice. I'm so sorry. My advice for my pile 4. I'll take them both. And then, oh, I love that. We'll talk about it in a second. And then give me, what is behind the door. So, dragonflies must be a thing because you have one here. It might be a spirit animal. You might be seeing one, but you have power, which is, I think this is Marie Laveau. I feel like that's what I'm going to open a book just to confirm, because I said that earlier without fact checking. But you have power. You have power, and then you have create your reality. And it says to let yourself have whatever you want, right? And it says to manifest. But here's the thing. Here's the part of manifestation that is huge for you, because your advice is to continue to do so. Don't do so from a hyperactive perspective, right? Like, be active in your pursuit of pleasure, for sure, and fun and enjoyment, but don't like make it a job. Don't make it work. Like, you have the power to create your reality, right? And your advice is to be receptive and allow yourself to have it. Okay? This is also go forward energy. Whatever is coming in for you, take it. Do not let it pass you by. Do not be afraid. Do not overthink it. Do not overanalyze it. Don't hold yourself back because of the what ifs and the fears of the failure, the fear of opposition, the fear of struggle, the fear of getting lost, because this combination could be getting lost, losing yourself, right? Don't be afraid of that, okay? So let me pull, it is Marie Laveau, right? And it says, she actually was an astute businesswoman, so that could be relevant. It could be work related for sure. But she was also the go-to person for the spiritual remedies of everyday life. Okay, and it says, if you have drawn this card, you've been called to embrace all aspects of yourself, pile 4, and to rise to every occasion with confidence. You are so much more than a mundane daily tasks that often bog you down. New opportunities will help you explore the different ways you can express yourself and feel more fulfilled. Talks about being more fulfillment. Allow yourself to be fulfilled. Just do more than just your day-to-day mundane tasks, right? Be confident and embrace all aspects of yourself, especially the aspects that enjoy pleasure and learning and growing, right? Confidence is actually twice. You have that there and that fire energy. So let's talk about, I want to see what it is, because it's telling you to go ahead and create this life, to step into your power. Okay? Whatever it is, you are that person in this door. Whatever door you're walking through, you will be on top, in power, creating your reality, whether it is as a creator, like as a writer, as an artist, right? As any form of a creator, as someone that is leading, right? Because this is also leadership energy. Your advice is to be in your power. Be who you are. Be that person. Okay? So let me see. Lanyap. Yeah, I'm definitely where I'm from, knowing how to say that. But look at that pearl. And then we've got growth. I love the coloring together, right? Okay, so let me tell you what Lanyap is saying. I like how they put the pronunciation in the word. That's hilarious. All right, but it is a gift. I mentioned too good to be true, right? I mentioned that it was too good to be true. Whatever it is, it seems too good to be true to you. Whatever it is coming in, like, you won't believe it. That's why your advice is power, create your reality. This is almost a combination saying, remember, you asked for this. Remember, you manifested this, right? Because some of you prayed for blessings. Some of you tried to manifest specific things, and it's going to happen. You're going to be like, this is not real, can't be, and be spooked because you actually like got what you desired. Others of you just kind of had a general, I want a nice, happy, fulfilled life kind of a thing you prayed for. And when the opportunity presents itself, you're going to question it. And like, you're going to have to talk yourself out of ruining it for yourself, because you'll be freaked out. Some of you will be freaked out by your power of calling in, right, with the feminine energy and receiving what it is you've been wanting your life, okay? But it is a gift, okay, a blessing. And it says good intentions always pay off in one way or another. You've pulled this card because although things, I have no idea what just happened, but it just stopped recording and I watched it do it. So like, don't shut down and like mess up like this opportunity, whatever it is, powerful. But like, I don't know why it stopped filming, but I watched it just stop. So maybe I need to emphasize this point, but it definitely says you've pulled this card because although things in your life may not have panned out exactly as you anticipated, your karmic reward will be quite pleasant and it may surprise you. Sometimes the best gifts are the unexpected ones. If you continue to live your life led by positive and loving thoughts and actions, the peaceful and pleasant results may surprise you. I love this deck and how it's just aligning with the overall everything that I've been saying, right? A gift, a pearl, right? Your karmic reward. If things didn't go the way you thought they should, if you're not on the path you thought you were originally setting on, if whatever shows up, the blessing pops up and it's something you never would have thought of, never would have expected, never even wanted, take it, okay? Accept it. Pleasant results may surprise you. But this is going to be something shocking that you don't see coming. And that makes sense because Aquarius energy is ruled by Uranus, which is shocks. It is shocks. So let's see what growth has to say. 32. I'm like fighting with it. Wait, first of all, let me just say that I mentioned that create your reality was like a dragonfly. It absolutely is a dragonfly for those of you that needed that confirmation. And that is the last card. So I'm glad that I flipped this book open. I'm going to come back to growth, but you've got 1 and 33, the first and the last card of the deck, and you have number 0, which is the Fool, the beginning of the journey. You've closed a major cycle and now it's time to really step into your power, okay? Like really step into your power, really go out and live your life. You've accomplished something, okay? And if you don't feel like you have already in spirit, power, and you are going to see the physical manifestation. Like you're going to have a physical accomplishment soon, because as above, so below. Once you reach certain levels in spirit, you will also feel it in a tangible 3D. And when you step into that 3D energy, you won't believe it, right? And you'll see, you'll be in your power because you've completed 1 to 33. The number 32 may very well be relevant. Could be your age, could be something associated with that number, but like you have it twice here from 2 different decks, okay? Could even be a cycle with 32 to 32 and 3, okay? So, but let's look at the dragonfly, because I'm realizing we actually didn't look at that. It does talk about perception, illusion, and transformation in your mentality. It says you've pulled this card because you've grown stronger in your manifestation skills, and it's necessary to pay attention to where you choose to focus your thoughts and energy. That's a warning to not self-sabotage. And it says, think about what you want, not about what you don't want. Okay? Has a recent situation not been to your liking and led you to focus on what is lacking as opposed to what is abundant? We kind of touched on that with Lanyap, okay? It definitely did. You're being a bit pessimistic out of fear, and it does mention triggers that can tempt you to dwell on what you don't want, okay? But when the dragonfly shows up, it's letting us know that we've grown beyond the thoughts that control us. It's now time to mindfully choose what you will focus on as you move forward with your life. Don't get caught up in what could, what might, the fears. Don't get wrapped up in your fears. Be confident, step into your power, create your reality. When this once in a lifetime opportunity shows up for you, this blessing that doesn't even seem real, remember who you are. You're powerful. You can control the narrative. You can control your outcome, right? Especially if you lead from a place of joy and pleasure. Okay, but let me go back now to what we're closing it out. Sorry, we got your advice, and now we've got what's behind the door. We've got Lanyap, a gift, and growth. You're going to grow. You're going to learn as a person. All of your struggles have been worth it for sure. Okay, this is what's behind the door, a gift that will grow. Okay, you are growing to trust yourself more. You're becoming more aware of your intuitive feelings and guidance. That's that receptive divine feminine energy right here. That's exactly what that is. See? Some of you may actually conceive, right? You may, if you've been wanting a family or children, you may conceive, okay? And behind the door, you're going to have a family. I can see that here with this creation energy. That's if that's what you've been wanting. But it does say by allowing yourself time, flexibility to acknowledge and honor these feelings, you are supporting yourself and having the most fulfilling life possible. And fulfillment is very critical to this pile. It says stopping to ask yourself how you feel about something as opposed to what you think about something can make all of the difference. Sometimes what feels right may not be the next logical step, but inevitably it will be what is for your highest good. That is literally the whole story of your pile, that last line, right? It tells you to listen to your intuition and how you feel versus what you think, okay? And that is the difference. It literally says sometimes what feels right may not be the next logical step, but inevitably it will be what is for your highest good. You got something big happening. Please tell me when it happens. I like to know, and I like to congratulate you guys, but this does not feel like real life. It's such a big thing that you're so afraid of all of the ways that it can go wrong. It's like a miracle. This is a miracle pile, okay? So I'm gonna close it. Beautiful energy, beautiful energy. Literally a gift and a miracle, okay? So that is all I have for you today, pile 4. Hopefully it resonated, and if it did, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay in the know on the content we post here on this channel. Thank you for watching.